Hi, chat. Oh, whoops, I forgot to resize Akko.
That's okay.
Akko be down here. Lum Lum is currently missing, but she will be here momentarily. So until then, I figured we could, just entertain ourselves for a moment.
I've never played Hollow Cure before.
You should.
What kind of game is it?
It's Vampire Survivor-like.
Oh, okay.
Very entertaining, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, is it a roguelite?
No.
Oh, what I mean is, do you get like random upgrades and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm guessing it's like endless and stuff.
No. It can be if you want it to be.
Ah, okay.
Each level should take about 20 minutes.
Wow.
What?
It just sounds like a lot, but that just might be me. Is this a game that they regularly update with new talents, or?
A bit.
Okay.
I mean, they've kind of got most all of them at this point, except some of the new people and the guys.
Because fuck the guys.
And Rushia, specifically.
Did they remove her, or was she never part of the game?
They never added her.
Probably for the best. It's a good talking game. It looks like it.
Sometimes. Sometimes you get really focused, though. I can do better if I'm doing Fauna for talking. Because Fauna is just like... She plays herself.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of class is she?
Well, there aren't really classes. Everybody just has like a unique weapon and 3 unique skills to them.
Ah, so the VTubers are all their own class.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And everything Fauna has just heals her, so she just kind of sits in one spot and constantly heals.
Okay.
Also, chat wants you to know it's a fan game.
Oh, so it's not officially endorsed by HoloLive?
HoloLive doesn't have any official games, to my knowledge.
They just didn't, like... So is this a free game, then, or...?
Yeah.
Okay.
HoloLife has a card game? I mean, I guess.
They're in Weiss Schwartz, aren't they?
I mean, I don't think that's their card game, but
No.
they might be. I don't keep track of all their collabs.
One day, you won't be able to keep track of all the collabs we do.
I already can't. I don't remember who I've interacted with in the last week.
See, chat, we're already famous.
But yeah, chat, once Lum Lum is done with her stuff, we will continue.
She said she was coming then?
Yeah, she had a phone call. It's probably from Donald Trump, chat. I want to thank her personally for her service. Lum Lum will be here. She just had business.
She had the business to do.
There's a new iDubbbz. No, people call him like discount iDubbbz. Because he kind of looks like him a little bit. If
Well,
iDubbbz was like 100% more gay.
Yeah. Technically, I'm doing a video tonight on what I consider to be the new iDubbbz, which is Mutahar.
I don't know if I'd consider him the new iDubbbz. He's just gay.
Mutahar, well, I mean, he is doing a lot of things that I would consider to have been done by iDubbbz, like forsaking all of his old fans and walking away from things that he feels are problematic, listening to Reddit and a subsection of his fans that really don't care.
That's just all creators.
I guess, but I feel like iDubbbz was one of the worst examples of it.
iDubbbz is considered one of the worst examples because he was one of the most edgy for the famous creators.
Yeah.
He wasn't the most edgy, but he, as far as famous people go on YouTube, he was. Other than Jim.
Where would you put Sam Hyde in that bracket?
No, Sam Hyde has always been niche. He's only the only thing famous about Sam Hyde is the memes. And that's not trying to be like mean to him or his work, right? But like really think about it. Like how many people actually know Sam Hyde's work?
No, like, I know what you mean.
Yeah, like they know the jokes about it, but they don't really know what he's done or like what the purpose is behind any of it.
I am curious. What was the first thing you like knew about Sam Hyde? If you can recall.
I can't.
Fair enough. I think one of the funniest things I knew about him is the fact that he got his own TED Talk. He like tricked people into giving him a TED Talk.
It was a TEDx talk. They give those to anybody, to be fair.
I know, but like they gave it to him under the assumption that he was going to come and actively talk to people about something, and then he came and said that we need to exterminate all old people and children while dressed in a Roman outfit.
Well, the thing is, TEDx has always kind of just been open to anybody, and part of his purpose for showing up was to show that like the way they were doing it specifically was really stupid.
Yeah. No, I know that.
And
like,
that the kind of people that watched it were also just very stupid because they would go along with anything they were told.
Oh, no, I agree. Like, I think that the best part is he was like, guys, you realize how easy it is for anybody.
I apologize. I got a phone call.
You should apologize.
We were discussing if it was Donald Trump thanking you for your service.
A call from Elon to tell you you were the new head of Doge.
That would have been concerning on his part because I'm bad with money.
I had to be good with money.
Okay, I will assume that everything is stupid that money's being spent on. I'll say cut everything.
Exactly. If the government's spending money on it, it's probably bad or it's to try and kill somebody.
Which is why I'm okay with them giving me $5,000 back.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
I'm hoping for the 5K.
Me too.
I'm not getting my hopes up, but I'm hoping that it happens.
Did you guys see that more interesting things have been released overnight?
Oh, about Biddy?
I was.
By the way, I'm streaming.
Yeah, I seen. I was right.
I still don't know much about it.
Some people are still defending her.
Did you hear those cat box files that Bizer girl uploaded? Yep. I told everybody in the Discord I do not want to talk about this anymore. Not because I don't want to hide it, but because it's just kind of disgusting, and I really don't feel like there's anything worth covering.
No, it's like, unfortunately, with outlooks like that, that's how these people still manage to hide from the wider people, and that's how they can still maintain a platform somewhere else. It's because nobody talks about it. Because that's what every other lolicon does, is ignore until the problem goes away.
So do you think doing a stream on it is a good idea?
Yes.
Then? Do you want to do a stream on it?
Yes.
Well, okay. Fair enough.
Because again, that's how most of the fucking pedo sympathizers that are already known in the lolicon space are still out there, still finding more friends, and it's like, oh, look at all these people complaining.
No, you bring up a decent point. I just don't want to bring unwanted attention to us because we're not connected to it.
I mean, it'd be unwanted attention from the fucking creeps. But at least the people who are, like, you know, calling this out would be like, wow, look at these people actually have some common sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, did you listen to any of that Twitter space yesterday that just went down the shithole?
Oh, the one by
the longer it went on. No. Oh, was Cerno? Yeah, Cerno was in it.
I know Cerno made their own Twitter space.
No, this was a different one hosted
space.
by someone else.
I think
no, I do not.
Lumi should join the VTube studio so we can get started on the main event.
I know my computer had to turn on because I didn't have it on earlier. And also because before I got that phone call, I was still asleep because I didn't fall asleep till about 7 a.m.
My goodness, woman. Are you recording videos all night?
Well, I couldn't sleep yesterday because things on the biddy situation was actively still updating, and then I'm like, oh, but what if this gets deleted because, you know, both major crash outs were deleted along with their accounts. I'm like, god damn it, no one archived these.
I mean, there are some archives in our server, but...
I know the farms have decent archives of everything, too.
Mm-hmm.
But some things were missed, and I'm like, god damn it.
You thinking about doing a separate stream of that, like this week, or do you want to do it next week?
I'm going to wait till probably Monday.
Monday?
Yeah, see if anything else comes out, and also get everything in the biddy thread put together. So then at least I have things in one place.
Do you want to do a tea stream about that, or do you just want to do something separate?
It will depend on how available you guys are.
Monday? Let me, give me one moment. I'll go grab my book.
And then also, I guess people are starting to forgive Finia already because she's like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, guys. For real, for real. They're like, oh, good enough.
I'm talking to her in DMs.
Yeah.
She DM'd me last night.
Who did?
Finia.
What did she have to say?
She wanted to be friends.
After our stream on her?
I don't think she's seen the stream.
Yeah, I don't think she knows. Oh yeah, did you see the new stuff that I was given that I posted in the thread?
On her? No.
Tree start that she's using for her header. She's going to a concert that costs about 300 euros. Her PC is all completely custom. As she bought plane tickets to Tokyo costing about 5,316 euros.
Maisie, what you should do is just
This was at the beginning of February.
Just send her a link to the stream.
She's a bad driver because she says, I was pulled over for speeding and reckless driving and puppy-eyed and apologized and said I had to be, and the police let her go. And then she said she really likes kicking in car mirrors when she's driving. And then apparently she skipped out on her rent twice. Is saying she's hiding from her landlord and pretending that she's not home, then begging for money. And then the alleged DM that she got from Uwu Market just says, hello, Finia, you have been selected to do a provided art merchandise drop in March. I would love to get you set up and started. Do you happen to have a Discord you're comfortable with exchanging to better share concepts and information? And then the last thing that I got was, you know, that one dude that's hosting another VTuber Awards type thing?
Oh, the lemon one?
Yeah, she was like, oh, by the way, the nominations are open. It's like, nominate for fucking what?
Yeah, I vaguely know of him. I saw when he walked onto the scene, and he like grew massively fast overnight because he advertises himself as a positive VTuber news reporter, and I was like,
I mean, he's actually been sticking to his guns on that, so I'll give him that.
I told him good luck, and he followed me for a moment, but then I think he realized that I was drama and then unfollowed me. I hadn't got nothing wrong against the guy. I just thought that was funny.
Somewhere there's an empty fans only account. Put this woman's name on it. I don't know. It's like the only way to get access to the not safe for work section of her Discord, which, oh yeah, I completely forgot to bring that up on stream. She lets minors and adults in her Discord server.
No.
And she requires ID verification for the not safe for work sections, but that's still fucking weird. Even though on her YouTube, one, she labels herself as 18 plus, and two, she posts not safe for work art on there.
Praise Jesus, give me the strength to not screech at these people.
Islam not almost ready.
Yeah, just gotta... God.
Oh, bless you.
it.
I looked at my book. My Monday is free, if that's the day you wanted to do it. Although that is movie night.
Oh yeah, that is movie night. Then we could do it Tuesday.
Okay.
Tuesday is when I'm watching Breaking Bad with Ava.
God damn it. Wednesday.
Wednesday is fine with me.
Okay.
My apologies. I schedule a lot now. The fish has been busy though. Oh, what are you throwing out? Are those pizzas?
No, they're dice.
Yeah, but I'm seeing like little cheese pizzas being thrown out all over the ground.
No, there's lava.
Oh.
Yeah, it looks like cheese pizza.
It's lava.
Or like pepperoni pizza.
Oh, fuck.
Quite falling in.
That is a clippable moment if I've ever heard one.
By the way, Fullinen, I could never figure out how to get your Mizu files into this, because they have the character images are like hidden, so you can't just replace them, which kind of sucks. Somebody would have to make a modding kit.
Oh, that's neat.
Fullinen made me sprites that I could replace the Guro with in this, so I could have a little Mizu running around. But I didn't realize that the files in Hollow... Because I thought because it was like just a little fan game that they'd just have the files be like a bunch of image files, and I could just replace them with the ones I wanted.
Yeah.
But they don't. All the files are like nested and hidden, which is fair. That's technically like the more professional way to do it. But until somebody like has a way to like decompile it, there's no way for me to just kind of insert my own stuff. I still think the little Mizu sprites are cute though.
Oh, are those the ones that you showed me a long time ago?
Probably.
I seem to remember those.
Showed them off a couple times because I like them and they're really cute.
Hearing cheese pizza after shortly after mentioning Biddy made me flinch. I'm sorry, Chad.
I'm sorry pizza has been ruined because of people like this.
Let's see. So this would be the 26th that we would do that stream?
Yes.
Okay, I'll write it down. And would that be under the T or our channels?
Well, since all three of us will be there, probably T.
All right, I have it written down.
Mizu just wants to be among the idols. I do. And it was like cute little artwork. I thought it would have been fun to like do a Holocure stream where I play as myself.
Look, guys, I'm playing with myself here.
I'll play with myself all I want.
Exactly.
I'm an adult. I can do what I need.
I consent to myself. I'm gonna stop there.
Oh, I got distracted picking up Lumi. Oh well, it's fine. I'll go here. Lumi here. There we go. I'll clear through this while we keep talking and then we'll start.
What the fuck? That is a cheap ass artist right there.
What is?
Here,
What?
I'll post it in shooting the shit. This person's like $20 for full body. Oh, what the...
Do they look legit though?
Let me see. They got a decent amount of followers.
That doesn't really matter.
They do post a lot of art, so
Does it look
Art style's
consistent?
consistent.
yeah, I would say it looks pretty. Let's see, they have 33 photos, pretty consistent style all throughout. The style's not bad.
Oh, that's probably why they're so cheap.
Hmm.
They're in Costa Rica.
Better take advantage of that. I'll send him a message.
Possibly have a base and template and desperate money need now. But yeah, no, if they're Costa Rica, it makes sense.
Yeah.
That's like $300 for them.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
No, I don't know.
I mean, 100 USD is like 1,000 of theirs.
Is that a lot?
One single USD is 0.0020 of our money.
Is that a
Cancel people
lot?
for cheaping out on artists? Hey, if the artist says that that's what they'll pay, that's not cheaping out.
That is half of a half of like basically a quarter of a penny.
Yeah. So I might have actually been right.
I guess what I'm asking is whether or not that translates to a lot of money for them.
Yes. It translates for a lot of money for them. Kind of like when you pay anyone in the Philippines.
Akko and their weird questions.
Jeez.
What?
No, just looking up more of this stuff. Someone's still saying, "Oh, of course it's Yumi. Yumi is defending Bitty Cat.
What?
Who?
A Yumi pill. She's the one that
familiar.
called all of us Nazis."
So she tears down Finia but defends Bitty Cat?
Yes.
That sounds like logic.
She went very hard on Finia too.
Mm-hmm. But she said it, and she was like, "Okay, this apology is fine now." On her too. I think she just kind of wanted the attention.
Possibly. I don't know. Maybe we convinced her she was wrong because the Nazis agreed with her. It's a possibility. She realized she was on the wrong side of history. What do you think, chat? For me, 20 bucks or 120 bucks?
Fair.
Listen, chat, I'm not gay, but $20 is $20.
Chat says that $20 is 2.5 of the average wage over there.
Ooh.
It's like twice of what my hourly wages would be.
Hi, Nerdy Texan Accountant. I have no idea what you were talking about. It was from the stream last night on Under the Tea. There was a lot going on with that.
That's one way to put it, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's accurate.
Yeah. Tempa's asking me to share the artist.
Did I miss the mullet segment? We have not started the mullet segment, and just so you know, the mullet segment is going to be a while because this is a 40-minute video.
Yep, and the last time we did a mullet reaction video, it was a 3.5-hour stream reacting to, like, what, a 28-minute video?
Something like that. So strap in, chat. We're going to be here a hot minute. Have you watched any of this one, Lum Lum?
Nope, you told me to stay blind, so I remained blind.
Well, I said it was probably a good idea.
And I think the raw, unadulterated cringe and pain and crying that I'd want to do would probably be better.
But what if we agree with him?
I would never agree with that, man.
So, what is this video about?
Fandoms.
Oh dear, I'm afraid he might be right then.
Fandoms and the ethics of fandoms. That's where the potential wrongness would be. It's ethics of fandoms. Like, there doesn't need to be ethics besides don't sexually assault people.
He didn't delete the video yet? Well, we haven't covered it yet, so he's not had a reason to delete it.
So you guys really think that he only deleted it because you guys talked about it?
Us and Auntie, yes.
I mean, it was fine, and then we talked about it, and then it was gone, so...
It's like he basically had all people agreeing with him until we brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's the face we all know and love.
Not so much mullet today, because we're wearing a hat this time.
Wait.
Oh, shit, Lumi got stuck to me.
Yeah, but he still has the nose ring and the god-awful glasses. And the very slight pedo stash that's just kind of right there.
He really is a British cigarette. Cat, we do not make fun of people's appearances here. We are good, happy little peoples. We are good fishes.
Exactly.
Why does it keep sticking Lumi to me?
Because I love you.
You know how in VTube Studio there's an option when you are setting up your whatchamacallits? Your
yeah.
When you're setting up your props and stuff, you can check on or off to pin it to something.
Mm.
The fact that they don't have that option for VTuber models yet is so annoying.
Yeah.
Because it's dumb that it already by default pins it, because there's very few situations where I want to pin somebody to me.
I mean, I'm sure you'd want to pin Dama to you at all times, but, you know.
Probably.
And later.
Probably.
So, real quick before I stream it to y'all, I gotta make sure I can get the volume for it.
The other day when...
Alright, chat will be able to hear it. Oh, watch this. Did it work?
I see
No,
blue.
it didn't.
I see us.
Okay.
Are you trying to use that plugin where the video is in VTube Studio itself?
No. I was trying to do a hotkey on which automatically just starts it without me having to click anything. Oh well.
There it is.
All right, guys. Is everybody ready to talk about the ethics of fandoms? Specifically, My Hero Academia for some reason.
Oh, is that the one that was brought up?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Why My Hero is used, I don't know. Probably because it's the easiest one to make fun of.
It's famous.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go.
The
I'm
other
ready.
day, when me and my friends were passing some time playing the game we've played for the last 20 years of our lives, a topic of conversation came up, which was fandoms on the internet. You know, people that come together on the internet and congregate over a shared love and interest for something. Maybe it's an actor, maybe it's a TV show, maybe it's a YouTuber, whatever. It's basically just loving something or enjoying something, this hobby or this show or this person, and having a shared appreciation for it over the internet and talking about it, making art around it, theorizing about it, you know, all sorts. Just, you know, how you have clubs, IRL, you have online fandoms. And about 5 years ago on the internet, fandoms were literally, well, wild. So this conversation with my friends devolved into,
Pause.
well, what was...
Already wrong. Fandoms 5 years ago were wild? No. Fandoms in the early 2000s were fucking wild. It's like that. That's when you still had the yaoi paddles over in conventions before they got banned. We had people actually trying to send poison to other people, depending on the fandom that you were in. Cookies filled with like fiberglass and everything.
I remember
Needles.
that. Oh my gosh, I remember that. That was so
No,
terrifying.
there was another one where somebody filled sweets with fiberglass.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, that one was a very small but very horrifying fandom thing from... Which fandom was it? I think it was also Hitalia. Why is it always Hitalia? Again, Hitalia is never beating the worst fandom allegations, just most people forget about it because it's not as popular anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
the worst fandom on the internet? What one was the most infamous, the most controversies? And this conversation went on for ages, and people basically came to arguing over, well, is it the Minecraft fandom or is it the My Hero Academia fandom? And throughout all of this, I was just listening like, okay, cool, because I've never really paid attention to fandoms on the internet. I've only ever seen out of context clips here and there, but that's all I attributed it to, you know, out of context things, so there's no point in me really casting my judgment on them. But anyway, the conversation basically spiraled into people doing My Hero Academia impressions. One guy was like, my quirk is not showering. Gah, what is that? Rub-a-dub-dub, man. I didn't really get all of this because I once tried to watch My Hero Academia years ago when it like came out, and I just didn't like it. I'm sorry if that upsets you. I didn't like the show. I felt it wasn't really meant for me. I wasn't really the demographic, and that's okay. That's not me saying nobody can watch it and nobody can enjoy it. I got like 2 episodes in and thought, yeah, this is just straight up is not for me. And then the conversation went on to talk about apparently how fans wrote to the maker of the show with death threats.
Where is he going with it? Like, do we need all this backstory for this discussion?
I guess so, but writing death threats to mangakas aren't new. Instead of, you know, writing them to Twitter, some people actually learned how to write in Japanese to send to their actual studios.
Oh gosh, it reminds me of that one JonTron video when at the end of it he just writes to the creator of a game and saying, "Why did you create this? It sucks. My hair is falling out."
To give credit where credit is due, so far nothing he's said is really that out of pocket.
Yeah, but I'm just like, where is he going with this?
Yeah, it's just like a weird way he's crafted his video so far. Like, we don't need all this backstory. I don't care that you didn't like My Hero Academia. It's not really that important.
And it's just like, even though I don't like these commentators and stuff, but the chicks that we watched that was doing the whole, shoujo anime or creepy, whatever, at least those are better laid out, like how they want to get their point across. Their point was still wrong, but at least it was laid out better than his.
Yeah, this is something, if you showed me this part in a script, I'd be like, okay, we can just delete this whole page. Not even tweak it, just delete the whole page. None of this matters.
Yeah.
Apparently people put their bodily fluids on posters. Apparently people were shipping adults with minors. Apparently people were making the characters pregnant. Yep. Apparently people were doing like these headcanon shipping things, but dying on it. And if you opposed it, you would get hate. And then apparently there's also like homophobia and all of this. And I was just like, what on earth is going on? People are throwing around all these different...
Again, Hitalia would blow My Hero out of the fucking water. It's like, again, I'm sure you guys heard of the Hitalia shipping wars where they treated it as if it was as important as the real life wars between these countries.
I heard it only from you.
Oh, it's just, one day we're gonna have to sit down and teach you some atrocious things that various fandoms have done. It's like,
different things, but with no real substance to it. They're just kind of saying these things happened. And I thought, well, I clearly have to go and research this now, because this just sounds like an absolute cesspit where no productive conversation is happening. And I kind of suspected it would be that the classic internet thing, that the majority of the fandom were just pretty regular people that had...
I just got a follow on Twitch, and I have to read the name because I just have to. Thank you for the follow over on Twitch, Conquistador.
Conquistador. Oh, love it.
Everybody had to see the name.
Had this interest in this anime, but there was just a few moments where people took it too far, and that's what the majority of the internet ran with. The rest of the internet had these few incidences where it came out of the fandom and into the mainstream, and they were like, whoa, that's super, what is going on? And that just became the common consensus for that fandom. So here we are today trying to debunk the things around the My Hero Academia fandom. Are they like scary people you can't trust and you need to run 5,000 miles away from? No, I strongly suspect this is not the case, but let's talk about it.
You know what I'm thinking is, I'm thinking because the MHA fandom is so normie and so like heavily filled with like LGBTQ kids that he feels a need to defend them. Because there's no way he starts this video like, I'm going to debunk the negative things about the My Hero fandom. And it's like, no, literally, you ask anybody that's involved in any aspect of like anime fandoms, who's the worst, it's probably My Hero Academia.
That or Danganronpa.
Danganronpa is half and half. They have like half shitty people and half fine people. That's what kind of saves them.
Yeah, just don't interact with the RPers. They're some of the worst people in existence.
He talks like he's talking to children. He is, technically.
I mean, he's talking about a fandom filled with essentially children doing these cringe things.
Yeah. I say Demon Slayer. I just don't see enough about Demon Slayer. Other than people like, this animation clears. Like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, the only thing that I see about Demon Slayer is, this animation is so high quality. Why aren't all shows like this? And this anime character is literally like 6. Why are you guys drawing her like that?
Let's break it down and try and understand what is actually going on here. But before we do get into this very topsy-turvy, lots of different things to consider conversation, let me introduce myself to you so I'm not some random person talking to you for the next half an hour or whatever. My name is Cal, and basically on this channel we talk about things.
This guy
I have a
like
big interest for diving into the world of subcultures.
Just, I don't know, Cal, if for whatever reason you watch this, just friendly advice. The way you actually do this is, instead of like this whole preamble, you're like, my name's Cal, today we're talking about XYZ. Not like this whole preamble of, just so you know who I am, and just so I am not a stranger to you, you may call me Cal. Like, no, just say, my name's Cal.
And also, Cal, Cal, just because we only poke fun at your fandom stuff or your really shit anime opinions, I see your Punks for Trump video. I will be covering that over on Arch's channel.
Oh no. Is it bad?
Those thumbnails won't get you a bigger fan base. Yeah. Hey, at least it looks like he's taken on our criticism from the last time, and he doesn't just use the exact same picture of himself for every thumbnail.
Yeah. So maybe you can watch our video.
And when we did our last video on him, we went back through some of his previous videos, and there was literally 2 pictures of him that were used on every single thumbnail for like the last year's worth of videos.
Oh no.
And he just alternated the same 2 pictures back and forth.
See, I use like 10 photos. 10 to 20.
Well, I mean, I only have like 4 or 5 pictures of myself, but like I don't need most of them. I'm just like happy, sad, laughing kind of thing. Like at least the range of emotions. These were the same thing as like, they still had like the same facial expression as like these 2 pictures. Like this just, I can only describe it as, I guess, an uncomfortable face. And it was the same like gesture, but it was the same 2 pictures flip-flopped constantly.
Oh boy.
So if that sounds like fun for you, please feel free to subscribe, because what we do is we talk about it as a community, all sharing our thoughts and opinions down below. There's never a pressure to agree with me. It's just open conversation and dialogue, and that's what makes this fun. Anyway, that's my little intro out the way. Let's crack on with this video. So if you've clicked on this video because you may watch my channel, or you just randomly clicked on it for a bit of fun, something new, but you don't know what My Hero Academia is, let me quickly just give you a couple quick definitions. My Hero Academia is this manga and show. It got very, very popular, and because of that, lots of people created
I don't like nitpicking stuff, but this just genuinely annoys me. That he's like, if you don't know what My Hero Academia is, let me give you a definition. Dude, no! Are you stupid? Like, everybody's pretty clear that it's a show of some sort, even if you have no idea what it is, just based on, like, context clues. You'd be like, let me give you a synopsis of, like, the series.
Or you can just boil it down to anime about superheroes. Bam, yeah. There you go.
I don't know why that annoys me, him just saying, let me give you a definition. It sounds really weird, and I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that when they want to tell you about, like, a show or a game.
No, not whatsoever.
Content around it on the internet. Some of it good, some of it bad, and some of it, well, just controversial. A fandom is basically, if you have seen my subculture videos, like a subculture, it's a community of people with this shared interest coming together purely for that. Now, of course, just like within subcultures, within that, people can have a whole host of different views and opinions. And just like within subcultures, because of that, people will butt heads and argue and disagree over what's right or what's wrong. There's gatekeeping, there's elitism, just like with anything in life, because humans and that's just the nature of fandoms and subcultures. But with that, let's look at this. My Hero Academia. A few years ago, My Hero Academia TikToks were like on everybody's feeds. And I think this was almost their downfall, because it literally transcended their community. And it went on to a lot of like normal mainstream TikTok. Like I remember seeing the TikToks at the time, and I have no part of this community, right? And I just remember thinking, I don't understand any of this. And on like a very basic, kind of like harmless level, like to any fandom, what it can be quickly observed that a lot of it is clearly young people dressing up like their characters, talking about their characters, and just kind of like basically doing cosplay to their characters. And you're thinking, okay, Cal, this is just cosplay. This seems pretty harmless. What's the problem here? Well, because it's young people basically enjoying things outside of what's considered normal, e.g. football, drinking, I don't know, just basically just doing
I don't know if you haven't realized this yet, my dude, but we're in the year of our Lord 2025. sports aren't really that like the normal thing to like anymore, and they really haven't been for like a decade now or more.
Yeah, and also in the year of our Lord 2025, and really since the year of our Lord like 2012, I blame 2012. The world should have ended, but instead anime became mainstream. So at this point, it does feel like our world has ended because all we get are whiny little fucking cocksuckers that are just like, oh, but this is bad. It's like, no, shut the fuck up. I think I miss people just being like, oh, those anime fans are weird. It's like, yeah, sure, just call us weird, leave us alone, don't watch it.
Well, and ever since COVID, people have picked up like TV watching like more than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like ratings of different things shot up, and a lot of these fandoms kind of blew up during COVID when everybody was stuck at home.
Yeah.
Thanks, Biden.
And also, it's just like, I don't think this man has ever encountered how popular inflation art is with the Sonic fandom yet.
No.
My complaint about what he's saying really is like just boiling down to it, because I do think it is a legitimate complaint, is he's already trying to set this up as people were just complaining about these kids and making fun of them because they weren't talking about normal things like football and sports. It's like, no, they really were super cringe and fucking weird. And, like, that's fine as a kid, right? Like, kids do stuff that's super cringe and super weird. I think the only thing that's really different is normally kids doing super cringe, super weird stuff were doing it with their other super cringe, super weird friends in the real world. Now they're doing it online.
Yeah.
And it opens them up to, like... Well, like, it opens them up to a lot of criticism and a lot of communities that they should not be involved in, basically.
Yeah.
Because, like, most people don't make it a habit to go around, like, watching kids at, like, a park do weird stuff. But now they're just publishing it all over the internet as, like, content and creators. And it's weird.
Yeah.
This is where the parents are supposed to step in and be like, no, you're not supposed to do this.
Yeah, and it's like there's a difference between like cringy teens going to conventions and doing this with other convention goers, because that's how you get like a funny but infamous photos of like the Homestuck cosplayers making the walls all gray, and Naruto cosplayers just like running at full fucking speed and then tripping over something. So it's just like, yeah. I don't know. It's like I miss those days. I miss on where the only things that you've seen from conventions are like out of context photos, but it's people legitimately having fun. Now nobody can actually have fun while cringing, because then you're just under the microscope and the ire of the wider internet.
Yeah.
And somebody's always filming.
Yeah. It's like some of it is way too fucking weird. Like the entire, one inflation art that should always be looked down on. I'm sorry, Akko.
It's okay.
I'm sorry, Akko. The inflation art has to go.
I'm okay with that. We can get rid of that. If it would make a better world, that'd be a sacrifice I'd be willing to make.
Okay.
Societally deemed acceptable behaviors. This gets labeled cringe. Why? Because it's people enthusiastically enjoying something that is not in the realms of everyday things that everybody enjoys. And once something is labeled cringe on the internet by like the mass public, it's almost like near impossible to shake that. Like if you go on TikTok, there are countless, like literally dozens. It's like a lot of what if you just type in My Hero Academia on TikTok. There's just so many cringe compilations. Like it's unbelievable. You know, the fandom got dogged on so much. It was a mess. It suddenly became a way to get lots of likes and engagement was by making content kind of like just making fun of My Hero Academia's fandom, right?
You are my tattoo, my only
I feel like this needs to go.
You make me happy when skies are blue.
And look, I'm not blindly defending
That
My
has to
Hero
go.
Academia
That does have to
fandom.
go, I'm sorry.
I just think on a base
Wait,
level,
Lumi, you
it's
should be
just
for
such
that. What
a
the fuck?
wasteless
No! Shut up! Fuck you, shut up.
Because if we look at this on paper, there is no difference between a My Hero Academia fandom person and like a soccer fan or a football fan. You both dress up as the people you like, you both make content around the subject, you also like to engage with other people that have the same shared interests. It's the same.
It's not, because it's how you like it. Anytime I hear about this, I can only ever think of that famous 4chan post where someone talks about like tourists in a community, and they're like, isn't it better that more people are getting involved in your community? And the person just replies, no, because they like it in the wrong way for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with like a lot of these kids. They're not like a fan of My Hero Academia because they genuinely like enjoyed the show, or they enjoyed like the story it told. They like the aesthetic. And because all they like is the aesthetic, they don't know how to like make content around it that isn't some sort of like aesthetic based thing, which ultimately ends up looking like a bunch of super creepy fetish material. And again, it looks like a bunch of super creepy fetish material, majority being produced by like 15-year-olds, which just makes it that much worse.
Mm.
It makes it feel very weird.
Yeah, it makes people very uncomfortable on like a base level. And it's like, there is some stuff that like footballer fans do that I would also be like, yeah, no, you're fucking cringe, dude. Yeah. I don't understand why like that's an excuse. Like, oh, they're just like football fans. Yeah, some people that like sports take it way too far and they're super cringe. Congratulations. Like, there's people in every fandom that are going to go too far and do really cringe, weird stuff in the name of their fandom. The problem is stuff like MHA is populated almost exclusively by those people.
Yeah.
Like, you go to a football stadium, everybody looks mostly normal, and then there's like one group of guys in one section that are half naked and have their body paint on. But then you go to the My Hero TikTok, that's every single person.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, thinking about this, and for the various fandoms that I've been in and the circles I've been in, I'm honestly surprised nobody talks about the, it's like, I love these. I used to listen to them a lot, but I'm surprised nobody talks about the in-character audio role plays that people do. Safe for work and not safe for work.
Wait, what?
You're not familiar?
No.
Oh, hold on, let me pull up their channel real quick. Hold on. What was their really popular one? Okay. Let's see. See, no, not that one. No, not that one. I think. Oh, yes. Yagami Yato is one of the popular ones. I used to be subscribed to their Patreon and stuff. Yagami Yato is one of my favorites. I know they became a VTuber recently. Semi-recently.
Chad is pointing out that I might not know about this because I'm not an actual woman.
You know what? Fair. It's like if you go to their playlists, you'll see all of the audio RPs they used to do. I don't know if they do it as often anymore because they became a VTuber.
Interesting.
Either way, we continue.
We do.
It's all the same to me. But because this is like a subculture and not like widely accepted by the mainstream, occasionally you'll get videos from your fandom that do go into the mainstream, and that becomes like everybody's general consensus or understanding for that fandom. And that is how we end up with these cringe compilations. It is also super important to note that because, you know, it then quickly got this general consensus that it was cringe, that it was this weird fandom that were doing all sorts of odd things. Whether that was even the truth or like even if it was just one or two people doing that, that just became the general consensus. And who realizes they can benefit off of that? Well, content creators and people outside of this world. It almost became like a joke to then join in on this joke.
Oi. You wanted to see Bakiko oiled up, do you? Oil! Ugh, yeah.
Even if the jokes are self-referential, and by that I mean people from the fandom are actually joking about themselves, being like, "Ha, we know this is silly odd, but we're joking about it ourselves."
Izukumi Doria, Katsuki Bakugo, Shoto Todoroki, Seijiro Kirishima, Denki Kaminari, I'm Tenya Ida.
Why is he going back to the feet again?
So, here's something I don't think he gets, and I say this a lot, and you guys have probably heard me say this a billion times at this point. At some point, when you look so stupid, there is no difference between pretending to be stupid and just genuinely being stupid.
Sorry, my food was delivered.
You're good.
Congratulations. But
Also,
yeah, like at some point, there is no difference between I am pretending to be an idiot and I genuinely am an idiot. Because if all you do is make yourself look like a dumbass every day, day in, day out, what's the functional difference between you and somebody who genuinely is just a dumbass?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and also, I was watching one of Madame Savvy's streams, and she noticed that a lot of people in Gen Z, and like the younger generation, for some reason are really into feet.
Yeah, I blame Dan Schneider.
Oh, you're serious?
Are you telling me I'm wrong?
I'm not telling you you're wrong. I actually think that's kind of sad.
Trying to be ironic eventually becomes unironically part of you. I mean, yeah, it does. Like, he's like, oh, these guys are making jokes at their own expense. Okay, but then I go to their channel, and literally every single video is a, quote, joke at their own expense. At some point, it's just who you are. And you can't, like... It becomes the Schrodinger's asshole thing, right? If people think I'm cringy, then it's satire, and I'm just joking about, like, the fandom. But if people actually enjoy it, then it's genuine, and this is something I really like doing. You know?
It's like, I know some people will just continuously be like, oh, this is just a parody. This is a parody account. Yeah, guys. Kind of like how, oh, here's an example. I'm sorry, Rosa, I'm using you as an example again. How Rosa Schrodingered herself into liking feet.
I forgot about that. The fact that she was basically...
Oh, no, not
bullied into liking
Schrodinger's.
feet.
Pavloved herself into liking feet. She used to hate them, and now that's just what she does.
Gotta be careful, Lumi. Can't let that happen to yourself.
I hate them. They're disgusting. They need to be cut off. They shouldn't exist.
Well,
irony can only go
good.
so far. Exactly. At some point, it's just who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Nora Mineta, Tsuyu Asui. I'm Kyoka Jiro.
To the outside world, they won't see it. So when they see content creators like this who are clearly doing bits where they're doing caricatures of, you know, people in the My Hero Academia fandom, they're being like this over-the-top person. This is also what, you know, a lot of the mainstream will see My Hero fandom as just being the norm as.
Just got back from Popeyes. Do you want a bite of my chicken breast? Here, puppy. I know you haven't eaten today. Take a bite. Here, I'll help. Watch me. Puppy. This chicken's
This is
busted.
Like, I
unsettling
don't
to
know
listen to.
anything about this content creator, but it's so instantly clear that this is clearly not like someone blissfully unaware just enjoying the fandom. They are clearly making this for content because they know it's like a funny hee hee ha ha that people from the fandom will enjoy because they'll be like, yeah, this is funny because this is literally what people think we're like. And then you'll get people...
You don't produce... This is the thing, like, the difference between a respectable fandom that actually cares about the media they're involved in and people like these kids that are just in it for aesthetics, right? To them, anything that gets attention and gets, like, content, that's good. They're basically the definition of grifting at that point.
It's
But
just like...
for people that, like, actually want their fandom to be respected, if everybody on the internet is looking at them like they're a laughingstock, they're not making more content to look like a bigger laughingstock.
It's like, hold on here. I will show you what actual parody is, because I think I've showed you guys him before. But he has a character. Well, he has a character that he calls Shoot Spagoot.
Well, let's not get too off topic here.
No. This is still related. This is still fucking related. Let's see. Where is it?
I'm kind of
there. We go.
Violated by this, Lumi. No, thank you.
Too bad. Oh, thank you. Here, I'll put it in shooting the shit. There you go.
I feel a little uncomfortable looking at this too.
You're welcome.
I hate TikTok.
I know, I hate it too.
Sorry, the title of Mommy belongs to someone else now, I'm afraid. Oh wait, while we're on the topic, there's someone I wanted to introduce you to. Mom, this is Vaporeon, my girlfriend. Now wait, I know you may have some concerns, so let me lay those concerns to rest, alright? Your number one concern is probably, is this really what I want? And yes, I know that this is what I want. Vaporeon is a great friend, a partner, a lover. I know you may also be concerned that we may not be able to communicate very well considering she can't speak English, but rest assured we have ways of communicating with each other. For example, I know that she's happy whenever she makes this really specific sound that she makes when she's really happy. I won't go into details, but it's... Oh, Vaporeon, you didn't have to go into details like that, Vaporeon. She really didn't need to hear that. Anyhow, I hope this talk convinced you that this is really what I want, and it makes me and Vaporeon both happy. We actually have a wedding registry if you...
I have no idea why you make me watch uncomfortable things, Lumi.
Because it's fun. But no, he actually plays like a bunch of different characters and shit. But that's horrifyingly good character acting on his part. And also, like, but that's how you know he's doing it for fun and he's doing it for the laughs. And then there's the My Hero fandom. But yeah, I just wanted to show you what actual parody looks like in terms of fandom stuff.
From outside of that, who are just
I feel like I need you to pay me for the time I just lost.
No. You're here voluntarily.
The My Hero Academia fandom, it's like this double-edged sword where you try and be aware that your fandom is kind of like, ooh, but also people from outside will be like, okay, this is what the My Hero Academia fandom is. Like moments like this, like when I was researching this video, are now just like deeply etched into my head. I never needed to see one of the characters' faces in foot form. Like, why is this a thing? It's just so random. And obviously this, again, will transcend the fandom and go into the mainstream. People will be like, what is going on with that anime? And that is why it's just now like this thing. And now I understand why the people who I was talking to at the very beginning, before I started researching this video, have such a skewed view of what the My Hero Academia fandom is, because they're just showing clips like this. These random little clips will occasionally come to the mainstream and you're like, okay, you like feet, you're also doing this, that and the other. Like, what is going on here? But I think moments like this and the other controversies which we're now about to talk to kind of slipping in, and that's what people discuss when talking about the My Hero Academia fandom. The general consensus became that this is something genuinely really odd and at the detriment to society. But let's now talk about these controversies and actually trying to understand what's going on here. One of the biggest controversies I see people bring up is like, didn't the My Hero Academia fandom all spam the creator of the show, Horikoshi, with death threats? They were like, you are terrible, you don't deserve to live because you didn't follow my headcanon. And this seems to be a pretty big general consensus that people go along with on the internet. I see it in TikTok comment sections, people being like, oh, the My Hero Academia fandom wished death on the maker because they didn't play along with what they wanted in their headcanons. And look, I went online, I searched up, and I found a few different websites showing screenshots from supposed moments that My Hero Academia fans did, you know, at Horikoshi or whatever, and were like, I'm angry, you don't deserve to live. Or they did say like heinous things. Supposedly, if these screenshots are true, yeah, this is not healthy behavior to exhibit. It doesn't take a genius to understand that wishing death threats on someone who is making their show, it's not your show, it's their show. And if you don't like how it plays out, that's fine, but a death threat is not a proportional response, is it? And you know, in these conversations, it's important to...
I think every single mangaka has gotten a death threat over a ship, or an ending, or a character death. We all know that it happened to the Attack on Titan mangaka.
He deserved
It happens to game developers all the time. So this isn't new. This isn't a huge controversy. At this point, they're used to it. And again, back in the day, before social media, people actually sent physical mail over.
I actually think with MHA, he was getting physical mail. I think that's why it came out in this specific situation, because he had like made post online that implied people were sending him mail about it.
Well, that's happened to other mangakas too. So again, not new.
Yeah. I'm not saying this is exclusive to MHA. This is actually a serious problem with most new anime fandoms that have all these kids in them, where they just feel like it's completely okay to send death threats to people all the time. Also, he's an idiot, because he's like, well, you know, I checked Twitter for death threats, and I couldn't find many. It's like, yeah, because you can get, you know how easy it is to get that shit taken down? Like, that's one of the few things that if somebody says it and you report it, it'll probably be gone within, like, 10 minutes.
Yeah, because Twitter, for some reason, Twitter takes that supremely serious. Well,
because it's easy.
They take it seriously.
Well, it's because it's really easy to pick up in the algo. Anything with kill you is, like, just basically going to get ruined.
Of course.
And it's like, he's dumb because he's like, oh, no, like, I looked Twitter and I didn't see much of it. Yeah, that stuff gets removed constantly. It's the easiest thing to get removed. One of the easiest things, other than, like, you know, very serious illegal material.
Yeah.
You know, contextualize and have wider discussions. This just isn't localized to the My Hero Academia fandom. I've seen it from a whole range of shows, like Star Wars, people getting upset when certain characters aren't how they imagined them to be. You know, people crashing out and losing it over stuff like this. The issue here is when there's this very vocalized minority within a fandom. It will only be a few of the millions, but they're so vocal that goes out the fandom, and it's what the mainstream sees, and that's what you paint the picture as the whole fandom representing. It's when someone puts their totality or their identity, all that encompasses them, on something else. So to them, their identity is My Hero Academia. So when it goes against what they've, you know, conjured up in their head, they get very upset and they say things that they shouldn't say, the things that aren't appropriate. This, of course, if we think about this rationally, isn't just localized to My Hero Academia. Football fans, they have a whole history of being horrible.
Nobody cares about football. Stop. No one gives a shit about your British bastardization of sports.
And also, like, and it's like for football, it's basically a tradition at this point. Businesses already start like boarding up and everything before a major game.
Yeah. He says this as if like this isn't a huge criticism of football, right? And like when this stuff happens, this is kind of coming across as one of those things where he's like, well, it happens other places, so why do you give a shit that it's happening here? We care that it's happening at all the places. It shouldn't be happening. Why are you trying to excuse it because it happens other places? You're supposed to be the progressive one of us. I don't understand why you're like, oh yeah, bro, who cares? It's death threats. Everybody gets those. What do you mean?
And I thought I was the irrational one.
Like, no, with, he also ignores that it's scale, right? Like, yeah, death threats happen everywhere. For some reason with MHA, everyone seems okay with it. Like, obviously that's being a little hyperbolic, but if you go to, like, some of the death threat posts that got big, people are totally fine with it. And, like, the most pushback a lot of them would get from people actually within the community would be, oh, I think what you're saying is a little extreme, but other than that, I totally agree. Like, if I saw somebody, like, threatening to kill someone, my response to them isn't, oh, it's a little extreme, buddy, but I still agree with you. It's, nah, bro, that's not cool. What the fuck?
Yeah.
He's so dumb on this. And nobody cares about football. Stop trying to compare it to football. No one gives a shit.
Rude degenerates when, you know, their players don't score, they don't perform well, saying all sorts of horrible things. But Cal, it's football. We all love football. And when they don't play well, it just gets me upset. No, that's odd too. You can't just wish death on someone because they didn't perform how you wanted them to perform.
Oh, I feel like I have to clarify this. We'll clarify two things. First off, by football, he means soccer. The correct name for the sport, just so we're clear. Second off, this skips over the fact that the reason people get so upset with sports teams losing is there's a lot more on the line than just the game. There is so much money wrapped up in sports teams, and there's so much gray money wrapped up in the outcomes of sports teams. Like, it's not just
about, like, fantasy football.
Not just fantasy football. There's lots of underground betting and stuff that goes on with it.
Yeah.
And then there's also, if your team is doing well or doing poorly, it can actually affect how much money is coming into your city. Especially if you have the stadium within your city, right? Like, there's a lot of money that's wrapped up in this stuff. So for it to just be like, oh, well, they're caring about the win-lose. Like, I'm not making excuses for them. They shouldn't be going around being violent and sending death threats. But there is a lot more money that gets involved in this stuff than with anime.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that kind of has to be acknowledged if we're going to talk about, like, how violent they get.
Agreed.
The issue here is people within society putting their totality or putting so much of their self-importance on what they need in this world on things that aren't actually them. E.g., it's not things they can control through their own operations. It's outside of their being. And if it's outside of your being and you're putting importance on it, that is incredibly dangerous. Look, you can have your hobbies. You can enjoy football. I'm not saying never enjoy football. Hey, I'll sometimes kick a ball.
I'll sometimes
kick a ball at a barbecue or whatever in the summer. I won't watch My Hero Academia, but I do watch shows on the TV. These are all good things to enjoy. You can enjoy My Hero Academia. Your quirk can be enjoying I don't know if that's a funny joke, but your quirk can be enjoying My Hero Academia, whatever. Look, the issue is with any group is these fans that are like, this is everything to me. And that is when I believe the internet term is crash out and get upset and have disproportional reactions.
So I would actually push back against that. He says the problem is, like, the specific angry fans, right? And, like, yeah, those people are problems. Although this kind of goes back to what he said earlier, those people are everywhere. The problem is not necessarily those fans, because those fans will always exist and you will never be able to get rid of them. The problem is how your community deals with them. And the reality is MHA not only doesn't deal with them, they often back them up and give them a platform. That's, like, really what decides.
Yeah, because honestly, a lot of these people are just like, oh, they're not doing actual harm. Let them do what they want to do because blah, 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 stupid kids, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, you need to let these stupid kids know that they're doing something bad. But, like, at that point, I think it's just a lost cause.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, yeah, exactly. This happens in all of these communities, and we constantly have talks about, and I'm trying to have more and more talks about just, like, you got to gatekeep your community, because if you don't, you're going to have bad people in it that will take it for a ride.
Yeah, and the thing is, he mentioned this at the start of the stream, but this is something he probably wouldn't agree with, because he's like, oh, they get gatekeepy and elitist. It's like, yes, every community has to gatekeep, regardless of your opinions on it. And I think ultimately everybody believes in gatekeeping, they just disagree with the terminology, right? Because I had this conversation with someone one day where they were saying, oh, there's never a reason to gatekeep a community. And I was like, okay, so you would let a pedophile in your community? And they're like, well, no, obviously I wouldn't, but that's not the same thing. It's like, that's still gatekeeping. You're still trying to keep somebody out of your community because you think they're toxic to the community. So how is it not the same thing?
Yeah.
Everybody eventually has a gate. It just depends how far back into your neighborhood that gate is.
And it's like another thing is that with older fandoms and stuff, and then new fans come in, then that also starts a whole nother pot of bullshit. Because, for example, I seen on Twitter last week that someone decided to poke the bear that is the Supernatural fandom. And it's like, oh, why is everyone in Supernatural so problematic? How are you guys allowed to ship Wincest? How are you allowed to ship Sam and Dean with each other? And it's like, they woke up sleeper cells somehow, because that post went from, like, no attention to, like, almost 100+ quote retweets saying saying you weren't even alive when this came out and everything. It was a beautiful sight to behold. And for those of you who don't know, the first ever supernatural fan fiction was a Wincest fanfic that was released 10 minutes after the pilot released.
As people knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Anyways, we continue.
The outcome of the thing that actually isn't part of them, even though in their head they've conjured it and they've got this link, this very parasocial link, it's actually nothing to do with them. And look, I can understand from a human standpoint being upset when something doesn't go your way in a show or whatever, when you have an enjoyment for it. I remember when I found out wrestling wasn't real, I actually cried out of embarrassment, right? I remember my siblings doing like a gotcha moment on me, and they were like, "Kai, you know wrestling isn't real." And that Christmas, I just got a belt, one of the WWE belts, and I was like, "You can't see me, I'm shining now." Wait, is that the song? Anyway, I can't remember whose WWE entrance song that is, but I was so passionate about WWE. I was actually also quite old. I was like 11 or 12. I probably should have known by that point, but I've always kind of been naive in nature, and I'm always the last to know about things. And anyways, I found out, and I remember crying out of embarrassment, but that's because at that point, I put too much of my importance on WWE. And look, when you're a kid, that is such a normal thing to do. Am I trying to justify these people doing death threats? No, of course not. I'm just trying to contextualize it, understand it, and almost trying to like build little bridges so we can see if the My Hero Academia fandom is as dark and demonic as it is being painted out on the internet, or if it's just a few localized incidences where it has been genuinely bad. But a lot of the fandom will quickly call out this behavior and say, yeah, it isn't okay. So it's not a fair representation of the whole fandom, is it? If we're thinking, you know, with our logic hats on for a second, if we're not just trying to dunk on something because it's young people unapologetically and enthusiastically enjoying something, if we actually think, what is the actual harm going on here for the majority?
It's like, it seems like a lot of modern day anime fans are one of two extremes. Either the death threaty type of extreme, or these characters literally have their own thoughts and feelings. They don't deserve this. They personify the characters and then make it seem like they're actual people.
Yeah.
This is also something where if he was actually at any point involved in any of these communities, you'd know he was an idiot.
Yeah.
Because anybody that's like tried to talk about MHA before has immediately had these people show up in like their DMs and their messages. It's like, yeah, you say like, oh, this is a very small minority of people, but it's like, I could go on Twitter right now and say, it's soccer, not football, you're all idiots, and it's the dumbest sport in the world. I'd probably get like 0 replies from like hardcore football fans. Because they stay like in their little community, in their lane. But MHA people just like search out negativity about it so they can fight with people. Like constantly. I've gotten replies from them on the smallest little post I've made that had 0 attention because no one cared. And one of them still shows up and they're like, actually, MHA is fantastic and you shouldn't talk shit about it. It's one of the best animes ever made. What are you talking about?
Really? That happened?
Yeah. It also happens a lot with SAO.
That's funny.
But I'm also a lot louder about SAO because it's a shit show.
Of them, which is clearly there is not a lot of actual harm, right? The second big controversy I see discussed a lot online is basically, I don't know how to put this without it sounding quite crude and quite like, what? Somebody put their bodily fluids on a poster of one of the characters as a sort of like pushback about what was going on in the show or whatever. And if you're asking what I mean by bodily fluids, supposedly a used tampon and the blood from that they put on a character. Obviously, again, this is one of the moments where this goes.
Obviously, he's not aware of the tampon incident. I forgot which fandom it was, but some women were sending like their used tampons to a mangaka.
No comments.
And then obviously, I don't think he's aware of the Rainbow Dash jar.
Those are your people, Lumi. You can keep those.
Those aren't my people. I judge them all the time. They're not mine.
Those are your people, Lumi. You have to keep them.
They're not my people. They're Arch's. Arch is the one with the N-word pony, not me.
is outside of the fandom and other
pony?
people see it, and it's like, ooh, that's what this fandom does. They're deranged, Cal. They can't be trusted. This is what they're doing. They're so outside of the realms of humanity. Where is their humanity? Their quirk is being so evil. Media literacy is so important. It is clear, to me, how I infer this at least, is this is rage bait. This is
This whole video feels like rage bait.
This comes back to my point earlier. Like, at some point, there's no difference between an idiot and you pretending to be an idiot. Like, okay, maybe it is rage bait. At a certain point, when rage bait becomes so high effort, you're just an actually disgusting human being. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, once you've reached the point where your rage bait is not just making a controversial tweet, it's rubbing your bloody tampon all over My Hero Academia posters. Yeah, no, you're just genuinely, like, a disgusting human being. I don't know what you want me to say about that. Guys, this is where media literacy matters. What?
I have no comment on that. That's disgusting.
I was actually prepared for him to say it was satire. I was preparing myself for that. But no, like, at some point it's just disgusting, and trying to, like, make sense of it. It's like, no, just say it's nasty, bro. This is where you need media literacy. Fuck off.
someone clearly knowing the fandom has this, you know, obtuse, unlikable reputation now in society. So how have they joined in? They thought, what could be a funny moment? It almost, maybe it's like one of those self-referential fans that know the fandom is bad, so they're kind of like leaning into.
He is going for the satire angle too. He's trying to have his cake and eat it too.
Oh my gosh.
It's rage bait, but it could also be satire.
God damn it.
Imagine saying this about some, like, 15, 16-year-old scrubbing their bloody tampon over a My Hero Academia poster. Being like, guys, it's probably satire.
I can't imagine a scenario where I can take a woman seriously for saying that is satire. I would just say that she's deranged and maybe needs to go see somebody.
Exactly, you seem deranged. I don't want to get too into this, but this is something I've noticed over the last, like, 6 or 7 years, is for some reason it's become, like, acceptable to use, like, period blood in protest and shit, and, like, for artwork and other crap like that. And nobody calls these women deranged for doing that. But I'm like, put it in perspective as something, like, more normal that even more people do. If you saw, like, a woman out in public smearing her poop all over a painting as some form of protest, would you think she needed to be in a mental hospital, or would you think she was, like, stunning and brave?
No, she needs to go into a mental hospital. And I would think the same thing if a man put his semen all over a painting as well.
Yeah, but for some reason, like, when it comes to, like, period blood, everyone's like, no, it's like it's a totally fair, like, protest. Like, no, they also belong in the mental hospital. They are also fucking crazy. That is just as nasty as literally any other bodily fluid you could have used. It's so dumb.
I'm gonna get some more water. I feel like I need it.
Do we wait for Akko to get water, or do we continue?
Yeah, we can wait for Akko for a second.
In Cleveland's voice? Oh, that's nasty. I can't do his, like, weird, kind of, like, whistly inflection that he has in the back of his voice.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it's just his voice.
I'm not reading that, Goblin, but thank you for that cursed information.
How? What cursed information? Oh. Oh, yeah. I've seen that. It's like, I think the...
Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo.
Wee woo, wee woo. It's like, honestly, I think the unfortunately, I think you can call these people a fandom. But even worse, K-pop stans. They really like sending their used tampons or used pads to idols.
Yeah, and that's not normal at all.
No, it's not.
But we're supposed to pretend like, oh, it's an expression of their womanhood. Like, no, that's really nasty.
It's like there's a difference between throwing your bra at a rocker and sending your used tampons and pads or envelopes of pubic hair to people.
I mean, I think they're both a little unhinged, to be fair. It's just one is more unhinged than the other.
How is it my people again? God. I don't listen to K-pop anymore. I used to listen to it like way before it even came over to America. I used to listen to it in like, 2004 to like 2011, I believe.
They mean the woman people, Lumi.
Oh, the woman people again?
The woman people.
The woman people.
Even I'm not that mentally ill to start doing that anymore. She says, hey, shut the fuck up. It's like the K-pop groups that I used to listen to disbanded before these new age K-pop people came around.
Yeah.
Outside of the fandom, this is what people will take as being representative of the fandom. Do I think this is a weird joke and do I condone it? I think this is a super, super odd joke to make, and I really do think it's a joke. Do I condone it? No, this is an odd choice. This is an art, this is an expression. This is just an odd thing to do and post on the internet, right? I admit that, and I think, yes, this is really bad. Again, were all the millions of My Hero Academia fans using bodily fluids on posters? No, of course not. They're probably just harmlessly trying to enjoy the show, like most people do. But these isolated events, whether they're done in a sense of humor, because not everybody on the internet will have that context when it's exposed to them, this will just be taken as literal, that there's this fan out there that's like, well, when the show doesn't go my way, I'm gonna put my bodily fluids on the character in revolt, in riot, in saying no, 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 and this is why it gets the bad reputation. This is why people can't come out and say, I'm a My Hero Academia fan, because they'll be like, "Oi, your fans wish death threats on people and you smother bodily fluids on things." These aren't proportional responses. But in the fact that when we acknowledge it isn't a proportional response, we also have to acknowledge
this. No.
I don't really get where he's trying to go with this. It's like, oh, it's just a couple people. It's no big deal. It's like, it would be different, right? If it was anytime you talked to, like, we're gonna stick with his sports example. Anytime you talk to like a sports ball person, they're like, oh yeah, no, the My Hero Academia people are weird. That's different because they have no like involvement with like the wider anime fandom. But if you go to like the wider anime fandom and you ask any of them like what's the worst community within this fandom, everybody's gonna point at something like MHA, Attack on Titan, a lot of like the normie fandoms. It's like within the subsection of our community, that specific subsection is considered the worst. Like by everybody, it's pretty universal. And at some point you have to acknowledge there is a reason that everyone collectively agreed that they are the worst. And you can't just blame it all on like one bad apple, because those one bad apples exist everywhere. So if it's just one bad apple, why doesn't every anime community have like this really shitty like attachment to it, right? I think a fantastic example is like K-On, because I think everybody has seen the memes that K-On fans are racists. It's because of like the memes and stuff, and K-On fans use it to actively gatekeep their part of the fandom. But you don't actually hear people ever calling them like the worst. Even though it is universally agreed that that meme is true, the K-On fans are racist, you don't see people regularly talk about it unless it becomes relevant to a discussion. But anytime anything about who's the worst anime fandom, oh yeah, it's My Hero Academia. It's just immediate, everyone agrees.
That's sad.
Like, you have to acknowledge at some point that there is a reason everyone is agreeing.
It's like how everyone agrees the worst anime is Sword Art Online.
Except the normies who love it. Sword Art Online is a mix of the normies love it, but a lot of the hardcore anime fans hate it. And it's not even like a small divide. It's a huge amount of people would rate it 1 star, and a huge amount of people would rate it 10 stars.
Interesting.
It's a massive divide in the community.
Isn't the mass portion or the response from the mass majority within this fandom. This is very isolated events. I'm pretty sure the second one is rage bait, and I've seen on Reddit's people arguing back and forth the validity of this, and apparently the OC, the original content creator, I don't know why I said OC, but apparently the original content creator was like, yeah, this wasn't real, by the way. It was edgy humor. Oh, edgy humor is what's going to demonize your fandom, unfortunately. I think in these conversations, the blame really should be on the individuals that do this sort of stuff, rather than the whole fandom. But hey, it's the internet, and the average person isn't going to go sit down and research some fandom. They're just going to take these isolated events and accept that as law, because there's no incentive, there's no reward for actually looking into it and trying to contextualize it in your head, right? You're just going to see it and take that as, okay, that's what that fandom represents. Never going to go hit near that anime. Oh.
So something I think he's really looking over when he's discussing this is there's a difference between like public perception of a fandom, which can affect how people like go into it. And when you go into a fandom, this is the first stuff you see within the fandom itself, right? So like with MHA, yeah, there is like this air around it that it's full of these bad schizo people. But then when you go into like the fandom spaces, the first stuff you see is the bad schizo people as well. Like if you, for even any other fandom that has like some of these accusations around it, if you go into the fandom, the first thing you don't see is like the bad schizo people. You see people talking about the show, the game, whatever it is. You see fan art. You see all this fun stuff that could convince you to stay. You don't see any of that with MHA. You just immediately see the unhinged crazy people. You can't put it all on like people judging them. They're judging themselves.
It's a great way to gatekeep an anime.
I mean, I guess. But at some point, you're only gatekeeping it from, like, the rational people.
I feel bad for the mangaka at that point.
Mizu needs to learn about Anime Man lore. I've never really cared about Anime Man. That's Joey, right?
Yeah, that's Joey.
Yeah, I've always thought he was, like, kind of dumb. He has, like, some good takes, and then he sounds like an idiot every other time.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Mizu, hey Lum Lum, hey Akko, who's retard of the week this time. It's a mix between Aurora, Finya, and this guy.
Another big controversy attached to the My Hero Academia fandom, and I feel like this is the one that like most people know about, is the character shipping. It causes a lot of discussion, it causes a little discourse, because there's conversations around age-appropriate character shipping, and this is the one I feel like a lot of the mainstream or people outside of the fandom have been, you know, exposed to, seeing content around, and they're like, whoa, that's kind of odd. What's going on there? Basically, one of the biggest...
So I'm going to immediately correct you because he is just wrong on this. The discussion has never been around, oh, that's a bit odd. It's the fandom actively harasses anybody that acknowledges the canon ships. Because in My Hero Academia, there are canon couples. Like, it's not an assumption. The author, even for the very last chapter, came out and clarified that Deku is in, like, going to be in a canon relationship with the other girl, Uraka. It's, like, very explicit. And the fandom will actively harass anybody that acknowledges that these canon ships exist. Because they really want, like, their gay LGBT ships.
And it's like, this is funny, that the whole, like, shipping male characters and everything together, whether they're canonical or not, or even if they interact at all in the show, was just a pure Fujoshi thing. And now people are just like, oh, we could ship them together, but not like those nasty Fujoshis, because all they do is fetishize these male characters. It's like you're doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, but he is... I don't know if he's just dumb I mean, he is dumb. I don't know if on this specific point if he's just dumb or he's so far like out of all the anime communities ever that he does not understand what the discussion is point blank, because he's just gotten the discussion itself wrong. And I think he's also mixing up multiple discussions happening, because he mentions like age appropriateness as well. That only comes up because the MHA people are heavily anti-lolly for some bizarre reason. They are very, very strict. They get very angry over Marin from My Dress Up Darling because she's a minor and all this other stuff. So when people point out the characters in MHA are also minors, that's not because people care about the fact that they're shipping minors. It's because that the community is a bunch of hypocrites that constantly call out minors in other anime. Like, he's mixing multiple arguments into one that he thinks he can address better in his own way. It is just so dumb.
Shipping moments in this fandom are these two characters, Baku and Deku, and they are shipped like big time. Like, it's a big thing in the community. Like, people will headcanon them being together, and by headcanon I just mean, you know, they're in their head what they've made the law outside of the real show's law, which is these characters don't get together, but within the fandom they kind of made it they are together. Just like in my head, I've headcanoned it that Bonnie from FNAF
why would you
sounds
say this?
like Goofy from the Mickey Mouse universe. And before you get excited and like, Cal, are you in the FNAF fandom? No, I'm in no fandoms. Fandoms have just never appealed to me. In all honesty, I'm sorry, I can't be your FNAF fandom friend. It just doesn't interest me. Though I have these interests, e.g. Pokemon and FNAF, I don't interact with the fandoms, nor do I really watch the show.
Just so we're clear, he's basically openly admitting he is a tourist of everything he enjoys.
Yep.
Like, I don't think it's necessarily a problem to enjoy a piece of media on, like, a surface level, but if you genuinely, there is no piece of media that you are, like, in a fandom for, I don't think you have real interest at that point. Like, that to me, that just tells me that you have never seen anything that you're like, oh, I'm actually enjoying this and interested in it. I don't know, it comes off as a deeply uninteresting person. Maybe I'm off base on that, but I feel like everybody has like at least one thing they're into.
I agree.
What about you, Lemmy? You got any thoughts?
He shouldn't be doing any commentary on fandoms, like talking as if he knows all about it, if he's just enjoying it on a very surface level.
Yeah. He genuinely is a soulless ginger.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I agree with the person that says he has no hobby. Like, that's what it sounds like to me, is he has no real hobbies that he enjoys. He's just... this was, and I think everybody here has heard this before, but this was a genuine criticism for the longest time of, what was Doug Walker's thing? Like, the big collective of people that he had?
Who's Doug Walker?
Nostalgia Critic.
Oh.
He had, like, a big collective of people. It wasn't just him. It was like Linkara and all these other people. But there was often a criticism around their group that most of them could not make, so they criticized. And that's somewhat what I'm getting from him, is he can't really, like, enjoy anything or, like, get involved in communities he enjoys, so he just talks about them and criticizes them and critiques them.
Because that's all he's got.
Yeah. Like, that's something that's actually typically a big problem in, like, critical communities, or, like, people that critique things, is they just can't actually enjoy or participate in something, so they just try and tear it down and talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I just occasionally play the games and collect the figures. I'm sorry to burst your bubble if you... Anyways, I don't know what that was about. A lot of the critiques people will make is, well, adults are shipping these two characters when they were minors. You know, they're dressing up as the characters and doing, like, kind of adult-themed content. And what do I mean by adult-themed content? Well, like, romanticizing them. A lot of people are having debates over the ethicalness of this. Is it okay? Is it allowed? You have to...
Just so we're clear, when we're talking... He says adults. When we're talking adults, we mean, like, 19, 20-year-old adults. I don't know why he's like trying to make it like the way he's saying it, he's making it sound like they're 40, 50-year-olds, which even if it was, that would be okay. You can make like this content if you want at that age. But with MHA, it is by and large a very, very young people fandom.
Mm-hmm.
The oldest people in it, the oldest large section of the community, I would hazard to guess, are mid-20s, and that's really pushing it.
Also acknowledge in this conversation.
It's like rewind it like 10 seconds because he used that magic word that everybody hates. Is this allowed?
Content.
And it's
what
like,
do
of
I mean
course
by adult themed content? Well, like romanticizing them. A lot of people are having debates over the ethicalness of this. Is it okay? Is it allowed? You have to also acknowledge.
Yes, it's allowed. If you're an adult content creator dressing up as these characters, you're allowed. There's no there's no ethical argument here. They're fake.
Is that really what he's trying to say? Are you allowed as an adult to do this?
Yes. Only thinks that because of Hot Diggity Demon's video. Which one? I've watched most of his stuff, but I don't know exactly which one you're referencing.
In these conversations, though, that a lot of the people, the majority of people that are shipping these two characters will also just be minors, right? In their head, they'll just be like, yeah, I like the fact that these characters get together. Also, because of a side note, these two characters are like rivals. They don't get along. So it's the classic like rivals to lovers arc. Oh, that old beaten like a dead horse trope that people just seem to love. Anyway, but like as a kid, yeah, you kind of understand it because there's multiple reasons why as a kid you may like be drawn to this, right? Like it's like the obvious arc that like people know and love. And like when you're a kid, I can understand like wanting to buy into things.
This is a side criticism because I hear this a lot. But, like, tropes are tropes for a reason. They work. And I understand, like, your complaint to it. But I think one of, like, the most nonsensical tropes I've ever heard of is the wise old man trope, where the character meets a wise old man that teaches them, like, knowledge they wouldn't otherwise have. And it's like, oh, so normal. Because who would have more experience in life other than an old person that has lived a long life? And it's like, yeah, it's technically a trope, but it's a trope for a reason. It just makes logical sense that the person teaching you information would be older. Like, he's trying to talk about the rivals to lovers trope. Like, yeah, if two people are genuinely, like, so obsessed with each other that they are constantly trying to push each other to be better in their specific niche field of interest, yeah, there might be, like, some romantic tension there. Because they both clearly have a deep, passionate interest in the exact same thing. It just adds to, like, the show or movie you're watching to a degree. So it makes sense for the trope to exist. Like,
yeah, but also, I think my favorite type of like enemies to lovers thing is where the villain makes the hero worse. That is my favorite. Oh, that is my favorite.
I don't need a woman to make me better. I need a woman to make me worse.
Exactly.
Did you see that Twitter post I made about that?
I did.
I did not.
That was hilarious.
Let me see.
No, I was at work, and we have a new girl there who's a lot younger, and we were both working on a job together, and she goes, oh, God, I gotta fix this. And without even thinking, I just said, I don't need a woman in my life to fix me. I need one to make me worse. And she busted a gut laughing. I've never heard her laugh that hard. And she was, like, literally hunched over the ground. And I just told that story, and I ended it with, chat, does this mean I'm in?
Goddamn.
She genuinely thought that was the funniest joke she had ever heard, and I just kind of said it on accident because normally I try and avoid saying that kind of stuff at work. I don't need to get like a HR case on me.
No biggie, whatever. Like a fun little obvious one you can follow along with. And also too, I think if you are part of the LGBTQ plus community when you're a kid, and you just want some representation, you may just pick two of the characters, you know, that you like or whatever, and put them together. This is really quite harmless, okay?
No. The Fujoshis were here first, you fuck. No, we want to fetishize gay men. That's all we want to do. The Fujoshis were here first. Get the fuck out of here with your, oh, but they need represent. No. We're fetishizing them. They're fake.
Go make your own representation.
Okay, this is not a bad thing. That should never be demonized. Like shipping two characters you're a similar age to, whatever. It is harmless, right? There's nothing bad there. However, this conversation has another level to it because people were not just headcanning it, but they were wanting this to be the actual law within the show, and they were having these huge arguments online about making it law and trying to piece together all these theories and plots about trying to make them an official item. They're together. Nobody can.
So he didn't explain it at the start, but what he's doing is he's going through different, what he considers major controversies in the fandom. And he's quote debunking each of the major controversies of the fandom.
Even though there's no major controversies that he's been actually going over.
Like probably the closest one is the period blood thing, but I will tell you straight up that I'd never heard of that one. Like for something that's supposedly a major controversy like that, and that's genuinely like super nasty. Never heard anyone talk about it before, not once.
That's because you're not a woman.
Yeah, fair.
Stop it. Not even you, creator of the show. And if you do, death threats. And that's where, again, this is where you have to be honest. That is not appropriate. That is not a healthy thing. This is where, again, your totality is being far too represented by something external to you. And that is always going to be very dangerous because you don't control it. So when the outcome becomes something that you don't want, you're going to be very hurt by that. I don't know why I'm giving like life advice, but it's probably because when I was younger, I put too much of my importance on these things, and when it doesn't go right, you get hurt. But I think it's pretty natural when you're young and you're exploring your identity. However, genuinely, whichever way you shape it up, controversial age ship people were doing was this character and this character. Basically, this character is that character's mentor, grown-ass adult, minor in the beginning. Yeah, that's an odd ship to do. That's where you should be like, why would you do that? Okay, is this what the majority of the fandom want? No. Most people are like, yeah, don't do that. There is also like really like,
just so we're clear, the reason the majority of the fandom is like, don't do that, is because they all believe Bakudeku should be canon.
Yep.
It has nothing to do with like this, oh, they all agree that it's kind of creepy to ship him with All Might. That's not happening. It's just they are all so dedicated to this Bakudeku thing that anything else to them is genuinely offensive. And it's the same with Araka and the chick that like bites people, which is genuinely kind of hot, not gonna lie. Anyways, they believe those two should end up. They believe those two should end up together. So any other ships around them that is considered disgusting to them and offensive has nothing to do with characters being adults or not.
Yep.
Cursed audios like this.
You sure your mom is at home? Yeah, I'm sure. That's what she said the last time she caught us. Chan! We were 5!
And the issue is that it becomes so hard to tell what was done as like edgelord humor and what was done as like a genuine, authentic thing by a fan, because like, and this is not me ever, trying to defend edgelord humor. I think this is odd and unhealthy, but if it's someone creating something in jest, so you have that shock and awe reaction, by reacting to it, you do give them shock and awe reaction and the attention they want. And understandably so, if you don't have the context around it, you're just like, whoa, what is this fandom doing? They're trying to make children? What is this all about? This is heinous, scary stuff. Or, on the flip side, it is just an actual fan that is, for this sort of stuff. And then you're like, okay, well, we need some safeguarding going on here, right? Like, please somebody contact someone in their support network and get them the help and assistance they require. Again, the overarching theme, this is not a representation of the majority of fans. It's just this vocalized minority who are doing...
Okay, so that's a whole lot of words to say, like, some of these people are edgelords and edgelords bad.
Yeah.
That's not... If you genuinely believe that, though, you haven't actually made an argument against this controversy. Because you're like, okay, the community's full of these bad edgelords that shouldn't be doing this. Like, I'm not saying that. That's you saying that. You're saying the edgelords are bad and they shouldn't be doing this. Okay, they're still fans of this community. Also, Wolfsbane for $2. 80s made mullets cool. Hipsters made them gay. To be fair, people growing up made them gay. I'm sorry, mullets just look so bad.
I know some people can pull them off fairly well, but that's rare.
I mean, somebody can pull everything off. I've seen people that can pull off a unibrow.
Yeah.
Realistically,
really?
Yeah. Like Lumi. Lumi does the unibrow good.
I don't have any eyebrows.
I mean, your model.
Oh. She doesn't have any unibrows?
Because of the position of your hair, it makes you look like you have a unibrow.
God damn it.
Have you never noticed that?
No. Now I'm self-conscious.
Now she's like, I'm gonna spend $600 just to get rid of it.
Reigning Terror for 10. Mizu, why did Deku and mainly Ochoko get cucked by not getting together? The entire point of Toga via Choco is Toga and Ochoko expressing their feelings. No idea. I don't watch My Hero Academia. I just know all the kids in it are fucking cringe. I apologize, Lumi, because now people in chat are noticing it as well.
Yeah.
I've always thought it. I've just never voiced it.
Friendship over because of this.
Unilumi. Or you could say Looney.
No.
Lun.
No. I refuse Looney because that just brings in the fucking hell of a boss fandom.
If Lumi has no eyebrows, how does she express her emotions? She draws them on.
I don't even draw them on.
Fair.
You just don't have eyebrows? What the hell?
I have alopecia. I've said this before.
Yeah.
Alopecia gets rid of eyebrows as well because it's hair, Akko.
I don't have body hair. I save a lot on razors.
Congrats.
It's like, at least I have some hair on my head, but no body hair.
Yeah. Typically, eyebrows are kind of the first thing to go in that regard.
Yeah. But it's also why I'm not tan.
Yeah.
So far from the realms of what the majority of us would consider morally healthy and okay, that it creates this response from us like, whoa, when it comes out of the fandom and into the mainstream, which is the big problem fandoms face. Like I spoke about Therians in a previous video. A lot of the misconceptions and moments come from these iconic singular moments that the mainstream laugh at and go, wow, that's so funny, that's so odd, what is going on? And because you have those moments, and because it is a subculture, it is away from the mainstream, and the mainstream don't normally interact with these subcultures, those few moments become the totality of that subculture. Those very, very vocal fans within the subculture that are, not wanted there by the majority, they end up speaking for the whole fandom. Honestly, being in a fandom's tough work. You just get lumped in with all these people that don't actually represent the fandom, right? I think this is why I've seen in a lot of forums and stuff, researching for this video, I see a lot of people be like, yeah, I enjoy the show, but I'll never ever say I'm in the fandom, even if I am, because the way people associate it, even though they don't.
To clarify, chat, and I'll have to double check, he's not defending furries, he's defending Therians. People that think they actually are animals.
Really? There are people that think that?
Yeah, let me double check, because I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
That's weird.
Yeah, a Therian is an individual who identifies as a non-human animal.
That's weird.
So furries just like to dress up in animal costumes and have sex. Therians genuinely believe they are a dog in a human body. The easiest way to describe it is they believe they are trans animal.
Yeah.
Like, a furry doesn't believe they are their, like, fursuit character. They just want to dress up and do kinky shit. And before furries get mad at me, there is a very small percentage of you who just want to dress up because you find the characters cute. But we all know it's a small percentage of you. Stop lying. Therians genuinely believe they're animals. and they're crazy people. So I don't know how he's like, oh, this is a small misunderstood subculture. No, it is a genuine community of insane people that should not be like supported. They need to like get actual help. Otherkins, yes. Another word for them is otherkins, but I believe that is offensive now. They're Therians, which is whatever.
Actually enjoy the heinous things that people think the whole fandom does, because they know that's a general consensus outside of the fandom. They're just like, yeah, I don't even tell people I watch the show because people think I'm some sort of like degenerate that stands old men with young boys and totally okay with putting your bodily fluids on things as a protest for when the show doesn't go the way you want. Another big talking point I saw popping up when researching this video was like, within the cosplay community, I saw like this general consensus that the My Hero Academia cosplayers were the worst at convention. This is a clip that went really viral, and apparently the person that was asked to film was unaware of the situation.
Oh, Kachan! Kachan! Yeah, can you film a video for me for a school project? Sure. Stop filming me!
Okay. Stop! Jesus.
And of course, this adds to the stigma of, you know, My Hero Academia fandom being over the top, not respecting other people's boundaries and being obtuse because they want it the My Hero Academia way. And I saw this TikTok about, you know, this person getting harassed. Look, all of this paints the My Hero Academia fandom terribly, right? You think, well, what is wrong with these people? Why can't they just conduct themselves in a socially acceptable manner? The issue is, when we think about this wider scale for a moment, is this limited only to the My Hero Academia fandom, or do we know this to be a problem at conventions generally? I feel anyone that has had some experience in that world knows historically conventions, Comic-Cons, these places where people typically do go to dress up, have always had problems, unfortunately, with people overstepping boundaries, you know.
Not really. I've been to Anime Expo, which is considered one of the biggest, almost every year, except for, like, since COVID. I haven't really been going as much. And there really weren't all of these issues. It was genuinely, like, one or two people out of the group, and some of them I wasn't even sure, like, counted, right? Like, you'll have people saying, oh, this person, like, really overstepped bounds with me, and they'll tell a story that's like, I was sitting down eating, and they asked to take a picture of me. Because I had like a really fancy cosplay on, and they should have known like I was sitting down eating and whatever. It's like, yeah, no, they have like poor judgment on that part, but that's not like overstepping your boundaries. They just asked to take a picture. I really don't see it being like a serious issue at cons. I've cosplayed at a few cons, and I'm not saying like I'm the most beautiful person ever to show up to a convention or anything. There's people that wear way better, way more unique cosplays than I ever have, but I've never like seen an issue with it happening, and I've definitely never had anybody like overstep my bounds. It's always just been people, hey, I love this, can I take a picture of you real quick? Like, it's very common, and basically everybody asks. You rarely see somebody that just like starts snapping pictures of people. It's always, hey, your cosplay is fantastic. Could I take a picture of you? Wolfsbane for $2. Are My Hero shippers worse than how Naruto's were? I never saw many problems with Naruto shippers, because that was the olden days. Back then, everybody was kind of fine with whatever.
You know, there's been many stories of creepy people being at these shows, and they feel they can get away with things because they're in costumes and they have anonymity. Or that on top of that, there's a very big common theme, which is predatory men being inappropriate to women cosplayers, and they think it's an invitation to be over the top with, you know, like femme-presenting cosplayers because it's a character they like, and it's totally not okay. That is a conversation about etiquette and being like socially decent rather than the My Hero Academia fandom.
Okay, so I just went to a convention as Shinobu from Demon Slayer, obviously, as you can see, because I'm still in the cosplay. We're literally driving home. And pretty much the second I walked into the convention center, okay, I had two people call me Nezuko, right? Which, wrong character, but this experience, a fully grown man in a mask, so I can't see his face, but I can tell he's a fully grown man, goes, Nezuko-chan! And then he gets down on his knees and starts praising me like this. And he's like, marry me.
Like, there might be correlation, but it's not causation. Like, I don't think the moment you put on a My Hero Academia costume, you're suddenly like degenerate overlord 6000 that has like no social redeemable qualities. You're just mean. You're just this take person. I don't think that at all. I think, like, I genuinely do think like 99%, or maybe that's a bit too high just from what I've seen, but 95% of you at least are just people who enjoy something, and you're young and you're exploring self-identity and all of these things. I don't think you're dangerous. I don't think you're bad in truth. It's just there's been these localized individual moments that to the outside world are so shocking, are so like, what the heck, what is going on, that just becomes...
I just thought of this, and I don't know why I didn't think of it a minute ago, but this is somebody who's not involved with fandoms at all, who's talking about how communities only see the worst on the internet, and then they run with that as like if it's the whole fandom. And then he goes, by the way, at anime conventions, this is a huge problem because I've seen some TikToks about it.
Oh my gosh, you're right. He's Holy shit, I didn't even think about that.
Like, you're just undermining the whole point of your video. Wolfsbane for 2, the Naruhina versus Narusaka Wars was kind of crazy. That's just because everyone fucking hates Sakura. Nobody likes her.
What we unfortunately associate the whole fandom to be. It really does seem like all subcultures and fandoms and these things, no matter how wholesome their original roots, which is, you know, people coming together for a shared interest, they will get demonized because of like one or two events, and that just becomes... That's what that fandom's about. Punks! Don't ask them their political opinions. Skinheads! Oh my gosh! They're the worst. Like, there's all these misconceptions just...
Wait! I was fine when he said punks, but when he says skinheads, don't ask them their opinions. You know what skinheads are, right? What?
Jesus Christ.
There's a misconception around skinheads. Like what? That they're Nazis? Like, that blows my mind. This is the one time when calling a group of people Nazis is genuinely applicable. And he's like, oh, they get like a bad rap for no reason. What
this guy's verse, right?
I don't know how to handle that.
How many views did this video get?
This is 14K.
What the fuck? Yeah. Oh my gosh.
You know, some communities just get a bad rap for no reason, like skinheads. I'm sorry, I can't. There's no way you put that in the script and like you read over it 3 or 4 times and you're like, yeah, no, that's right. That's exactly what I want to say.
Do you think he had an AI write this video?
Fuck, I don't know, man. I think he might genuinely just be that dumb. When you ride the fence so hard, you defend real Nazis.
Oh.
I'm so confused. Man, that blew me away, genuinely. Oh, that's side-splitting. Also, Wolfsbane for 2, I'd say the Deadpool Brigade is worse than this.
Flying around, right? And it's important to have conversations like this where we think, actually, is that them in totality, or is it just this small portion? Small portion. It's like an appetizer. It's not even a main. It's a starter.
You could literally put any group of people in front of that and say, sir, are you advocating for something right now?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, we're kind of going off on the tangent of, well, this applies to anybody, so...
That's the main. Hey buddy, what's up with that? That's a starter. I've still got room for main and dessert. I don't know why I'm doing a food analogy for this. I'm just trying to get across that... Come on, there's dozens and dozens of people that are engaging authentically with the content, just doing their thing, but it doesn't create a talking point. Why? Because all it can be labeled as is cringe, which is how this started off as, and then it snowballed. But also, if you look at it with a bit of, you know, empathy, it's just young people enjoying themselves and having a shared interest. What's there to push back on? I think the actual conversation to...
This is a minor complaint that's been this entire video. Why do you keep putting like their TikToks dead center of the video? Like, move it off to the side. You have all this fucking space on the side of your video, and you just keep shoving it dead center of the video, covering up part of it. Just move it over here. It's all of this space. Put it at the top, right, or the bottom, so like it's not covering as much of the, like what's going on in the screen. Like, let us see what's going on if you're gonna show it off. Also, really quick, Wolfsbane for 2 needs to watch American History X really quick. Reigning Terror for 5, actually one of the guys who likes Sakura over Hinata, because then I actually thought that both relationships, Hinata was worse outside of looks. And then Avenged for 5, I'm surprised the fandom has not attacked his video yet. I don't know. He's genuinely a small creator. Lumi kind of stumbled onto him because of the Lollygod Requiem thing.
Yeah.
And then somebody who saw our Lollygod Requiem thing sent this in.
So if you look at it with a bit of, empathy, it's just young people enjoying themselves and having a shared interest. What's there to push back on? I think the actual conversation to have here is about convention etiquette.
I will say, to that point, like, to a degree, I agree. However, once you film it and put it on the internet, you kind of lose that, well, we're just, we're hanging out and doing what's fun. Kind of lose a little bit of that when you start trying to upload it for, like, clout and stuff. Now it becomes, like, a topic of discussion. Like, that's why it's different if you're hanging out with your friends and somebody films you from, like, the corner of the room where you can't see them. Then, yeah, you can say, like, oh, we were just a group of friends doing, like, having some fun together. Because you weren't, like, consenting to being filmed. But if you're all sitting here participating in this video, like, no, then you're opened up to criticism now. This guy's never been to a con. Oh, we know he hasn't. He's never been in a fandom before. He admitted that publicly.
Play doesn't equal consent. If somebody sat down at the convention, it typically means they don't want to be interacted with as character. All of these things. Don't follow people you don't know. Don't interrupt people's conversations just because you want your moment with the character you like, just because you really like their cosplay. Just be a decent human being and say hi, then ask your question, whether it's a photo.
Just so we're clear, this is like one of those things that's kind of hard to, you have to just judge in the moment, like what you're going to say. But no, trust me, it's way, I'm not saying it's way more rude, but it's way more creepy than it is rude to just stand and hover over somebody waiting for them to finish their conversation so you can ask them about their cosplay than it is to kind of interject for like a quick second and be like, hey, sorry to interrupt, really love your cosplay, do you think I could get a picture?
Yeah.
That's a little rude, but that kind of has to happen when you're like a huge public event like this, right? Like, there's only so much that can be done for these kind of events to make it like speed dating, where you're just all taking turns saying what you need to say super quickly. Trust me, you'd rather be a little rude for interjecting than be seen as the super creep who's just hovering over these two people you don't know, waiting for a chance to interject.
Or you just wanted to tell them you appreciate their costume. Not everything is for you. They are also there for themselves and for their friends and for their experience. You don't have to make everything about you.
It's not about you. This is a thing where he just genuinely does not understand fandom. It's not, oh, this person dressed up for me. It's, we are in a community. This person has dressed up as something I genuinely enjoy because they are in the same community as me. Maybe, like, we can have a small discussion about us being in this shared community. And this might genuinely just be a part of him never being in a fandom, so he has no idea this is how people are supposed to interact in these situations. Like, we're not all... People that show up to a convention are not all showing up so we can all be separate from each other and do our own thing. We are showing up because we have a shared interest in the convention topic, and we want to hang around other people that are within our community.
Well, I'm sure there's some people that do show up to a convention like that, but those are typically the people that probably shouldn't come to conventions.
True. I mean, even then, I've showed up to conventions with people that kind of show up and do their own thing, and sat down and we've made friends, and we have spent the rest of the convention hanging out together, right? Because just because you don't show up with a convention with, like, the express intention to make friends, most people are open to it.
Yeah.
Because you are within, like, the same community as each other.
Not limited to My Hero Academia fans. That is just a conversation about etiquette and being polite and just being a decent human when in a public forum. Because though this may be an MMORPG, this is what life is. There's no actual goal. You choose your own goals and you have fun. Doesn't mean the whole game is just for you. There's also lots of other players online in this server we call Earth. Be respectful to all the players and yeah.
Just don't call
decent.
Earth a server.
Look, team, and now I'm gonna flip this conversation on its head. No, Cal, you're so crazy, don't do it. I'm gonna do it. Just like I became the self-elected savior of Therians, I'm gonna become the self-elected savior of the My Hero Academia fandom. Also, if you're new here, that is me joking. I don't actually think I'm the savior of these subcultures whatsoever. I merely just make videos trying to humanize and defend it and contextualize things, because I think a lot of things are blown out of proportion.
He is so embarrassed by his own humor, and it's honestly embarrassing to watch. Like, no, guys, just so we're all clear, this was a joke. I am making a joke. I am a humorous individual. We are having a gaffe together. No, it just, you made a joke. Just let it sit, dude. I don't know. It's so embarrassing. I feel like this is only a clarification you need to make when you are saying something like mean about a person who is not your friend. And then in that case, I think to a degree, it's okay to be like, guys, I'm just joking. I actually love that creator. Because you don't want your fans to, like, go do some dumb shit on your behalf because you said you hated somebody. But for this, it's like, no, just let the joke sit. Oh, being embarrassed by yourself is very British. I mean, true, yeah.
Yeah.
Portion. In the same breath, we can acknowledge that there are moments like wishing death threats on the creator, putting bodily fluids if it was real, or just in general.
Just so we're clear, it was real. Like,
it was real.
I don't know why you're saying that. Like, the discussion is if it was real. It's if it was rage bait or not. But it was real. It was a video. They videoed themselves rubbing their tampon over it. I don't know what you want me to say about that.
Just setting up the premise of that joke and just doing that joke in general. Odd thing to do. Yes, we can acknowledge that's odd. Shipping the old characters with literal minors. Yeah, odd. But is this a representation of the whole fandom? No, never at all. And that's the most important thing you can remember. And you will see it within these fandoms. They will be trying to call out this stuff themselves. Just that doesn't get the media attention. That doesn't get the mainstream attention. That doesn't fit the narrative that they're all these untrustworthy, bad people within society, right? So it's time for me to become a legal attorney and defend the fandom.
Oh, you should say that,
the reason
sir.
why fandoms exist in the first place is unity. It's a shared interest. It's this common interest that binds people together. And because of that, it normally becomes like the most creative spaces. Though we acknowledge there's some very unpleasant cosplays and some very unpleasant fan art, the counter side to that is the majority is really just genuine attempts at being the characters they see on the screen, the characters they look up to and the characters they like. There's some really amazing artists out there doing all sorts of art and writing their own fanfics and spin-offs. These are good things. It gives people purpose. Not their total purpose, not their totality, remember, but it's just an outlet where people can come together and enjoy something when they're...
So I don't think he understands that's not exclusive. He's trying to say, like, no, like, this automatically makes it good. Like, no, you can make really fantastic art of something you like and also be a total schizoid weirdo who obsesses way too much over something. Just because you did good art does not, like, immediately make it exclusive that you're a good person. I don't know why he's trying to use that as an argument. Mullet Ricada. Cow rackets.
Not doing the trials and tribulations of life, whether that be, probably for a lot of them, is just going through the educational system, right? I also acknowledge there are adult My Hero Academia fans. I'm not trying to demonize them as all, like, untrustworthy individuals.
I have to say it, by the way, chat. don't go harass this person or like leave negative comments on their video. We do this because it's funny for us. We're not trying to like start a crusade against this guy. We really don't care about like if he thinks this stuff.
Yeah.
Right. I just feel like I have to clarify that. This is the same thing we say every video. Don't go harass people we talk about. We're just do it for fun and for the drama and to entertain ourselves.
Pretty much. You gotta Medicare it up.
I know.
Individuals who are obsessed with like minor characters. Not at all. Like I said, it was always this very vocal few that were being inappropriate, right? A lot of people will just like the show because they like the show. Just like how I said I don't like the show, people will like the show. Just like how I like FNAF, people will not like FNAF. Just how I like Pokemon, people will not like Pokemon. At a base level,
I would not
just
openly
enjoying
say you
something
like
and liking
FNAF.
something doesn't make you odd. It's just when it consumes you. And that's when, you know, there's safeguarding issues and there's actual conversations about, okay, the person behind that piece of content probably does need genuine help from their friends and families and people in their support network. And that's what you hope for, right? Also, the really important thing that is very important to notice within subcultures is a lot of the time it creates safe places for marginalized communities. For example, a lot of the people that were shipping these two characters were not die hard sending death threats because they had to have it as these two being together as lore and canon. They were just like, I like that these two are together. They were probably, minors themselves exploring their identity, and it was nice for them to have these two characters from a show they really liked being together.
I know you don't understand this guy because you're trying to do this whole like empathy shtick for your channel. It is genuinely not okay for minors to go on the internet in communities with adults to explore their sexuality. Is genuinely deeply inappropriate. And adults that are like leading these communities need to do a better job of kicking these children out. Because I understand that people try and do this thing of, well, we're giving them like a safe space they might not have. It is genuinely inappropriate for them to have that quote safe space because it's not safe for them. It's not safe for kids to be interacting with adults about that kind of subject matter that aren't like their parents. A trusted individual in their life that can like help them navigate that. They really should not be interacting with strange, random adults on the internet that in many cases know they're minors, because a lot of these minors just say outright that they're children. And they'll even start these conversations with like, hey, I actually don't know much about being gay because I'm only like 14. Can you help me out? That's just actively opening them to grooming. Like, and I get where I get from like an emotional standpoint where a lot of these people come from, but from a logical standpoint, this is genuinely just too dangerous to allow it.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me.
Are you too tired already?
My apologies.
I saw Lumi yawning over there too a minute ago.
I'm gonna take a nap before my stream tonight.
You good, Lumi? Are you muted?
Yes, shut up. No, I'm drinking my energy drink, and also I just forgot to turn on the lights around me. I have blackout curtains, so it just feels like it's still nighttime right now.
Fair.
At base level will always be harmless as it helps people understand themselves. There's no issue there. I think one of the best things I've seen on the internet in probably the last year or two is a lot of people are just letting people be like, you know what? Hell yeah. You see this comment on people's videos that are typically people that probably would have been bullied a few years ago. People are now just being like, I don't get it, whatever. But it's not doing any harm. It's not the degradation of society. Whatever, just do your thing. And that's not me trying to put a nice bright campaign on this. The My Hero Academia fandom gets a lot of crap. And like I said, this is why a lot of people in forums who are fan of the show will be like, yeah, I'll never admit that publicly because of the stigma around it. But it's nice that I see more comments of people who are just being like, they're literally not doing anything wrong. They're just having a good time, right? And I think that's nice to see that people are being celebrated. I just think back to what it was like being an emo back in the day, and it was brutal. Like, if you were different back in the day, it was ruthless. Like, honestly, people would just say the most unhinged things, like wrist check, or like, there's this one picture of just me and a couple of my mates, and on Facebook, this guy was like, aren't you the guys that all cut yourselves? Like, people said all sorts of just unhinged things. And honestly, as an adult now, it's just nice to see that the kids that are different and have different interests in the mainstream are being treated a little nicer. I still think you guys get a lot of shit. I'm not blind to it, and I imagine it's still very, very tough. But just those little pushes in that direction that the mainstream may be slightly more accepting is very good to see. So with that, the My Hero Academia fandom, do I think they're bad, untrustworthy, and we've got to make it illegal for any sort of My Hero Academia content to be anywhere? No, of course not. Let's not be over the top and cinematic for a second. I'm not just gonna be like over the top to, you know, sell a point and be like, haha, they're so funny, they're so odd, never trust them. Look, no. Had there been...
He is so, like, deeply insecure about his own content. Because he's acting like we all don't know his opinion on this already. When it's been the entire video. And he's like, okay, guys, I need to be serious for a second so you know that this is my real and true opinion about this. Like, you've given us your real and true opinion. A billion times over.
Yeah.
He's just, I don't know.
Was he like this during the first time you watched him?
The first time we watched him, he just seemed stupid. Because, like, everything he said was wrong.
Yeah.
Like, me and Lumi posted this a lot to other people. But one of his articles that he cited in his video, if he actually read it, disagreed with him on every single point. And it was his main article he used. And it's not even like if you read all the way down to the bottom, like nested into like the bottom of it, there was like a small line that said, by the way, this disagrees with all your points. No, it was literally the first paragraph was like, yeah, everything this guy currently believes is literally wrong. It's like you couldn't get past the first paragraph of your article. He literally just read like the headlines, and the headlines within the article were kind of meant to be like shocking to, you know, get you to read it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's they like weren't the actual opinion. It would be like the headline of, you know, are predators actually using lolicon? ? And then the very first line is, no, they're not.
It's like when people cite the Protect Act and then forget that it was changed, and it even mentions down at the bottom, by the way, this law was changed because it's horribly against the law.
Well, no, this would be a different situation. This is just headline reading, assuming the headline is the whole article. Low self-esteem vibes, yes, but I think he's also intimately close to people that cancel at the drop of a hat, so he's creating a firewall. That's also a possibility. My issue is he definitely just seems like he's insecure about what he's made and thinks that he hasn't actually made his point, even though we're going on 36 minutes.
Yeah.
Holy crap, it's been 36 minutes into this already?
Yeah, we've only got 4 left.
Wow.
Been a few incidents.
To be fair, we have let it play a lot longer than we normally would have, because he's not saying a lot of anything. He's going on these really long preambles for every point that don't matter. And he's really bad about repeating information as well. Especially every time he does the black and white thing, it's been the exact same joke every time.
Yeah.
Avenged for 5, is it just me or this guy got really punchable face? We don't punch people, chat. We are not a violent channel here. Violence is bad. Tell it to everybody. Violence over words is never acceptable.
This is where people have done very questionable things. Have there been a portion of people that have taken things too far with shipping and the other host of things? Yes, of course, we acknowledge that. But every fandom has them. The idea that the My Hero Academia fandom is any worse than any other passionate, enthusiastic fandom, well, that's just the internet doing the thing it's always done. Punching down on people that just do things a little differently. Punching down on enthusiastic people that are going against...
You kind of lose the argument of punching down when you're talking about one of the most popular anime in the world.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they're punching down. It's a massive anime that everybody's heard of. It's one of the most popular in America. They get giant, massive billboards at conventions for them. It's literally not punching down.
the grain, turning people's enthusiasm into a joke just because they don't fit your normal traditional standards for how a person should conduct themselves. You demonize them and you try and say they're all the very extremes of said fandom, which is so unfair, and it damps on creativity and self-expression and self-identity, which I think is just a shame and needless hating. Not cool. Now I want to hear about you. Are you a diehard hater of the My Hero Academia fandom? Or do you think they're being unfairly judged? What do you think? I think the 2020 period was such a random time for fandoms, right? Because they really were unapologetically online. So because of that, there's so much content and there's so many individual clickbaity moments that people can talk about. But if we're being real, are they doing harm? Let's talk about it. Let's discuss it. You always share your opinions. I'm sure people that are actually part of these fandoms can give their anecdotal stories of times where it has been too much and times where it has just been harmless fun, people coming together for a shared interest. Let's talk. I always want to hear people's different views and opinions. That's what this is about. Community, conversation. Sweet, let's get it. There'll be another video here. I'll probably put like the Therians.
Well, hopefully, Cal, this time you actually are open to discussion and you don't immediately delete your video now that we've said we don't like yours. Wolfsbane for 2 is the biggest new gen anime, exactly. Like your video, Cal, I think it was bad.
Yeah, and it's like, it sucks because the majority of the evidence of bad fandom acting was on Tumblr before the mass porn ban. And then kind of a lot of things got nuked if it was even vaguely not safe for work.
Yeah. Let's see what his community thinks about MHA. Always live by the saying, every fandom has its toxicity. You shouldn't generalize a whole fandom. Also, fans and haters can be equally as toxic. I saw the title and instantly thought the Bakugo poster incident. Fandoms always have toxic and bad sides. MHA is a good example of that. Love MHA, but the fandom? Hell no. What'd he reply to that? He just says Zooey Mama. It's an interesting one. Also, it's not Mama, it's Mama. Fucking didn't even watch Diary of a Wimpy Kid, fake fan. And again, like, this is a guy that admits he's never been in any fandoms, and he's like, this is normal for all fandoms. I can tell you, as somebody who has been in many fandoms, it is in fact not normal for all fandoms.
Yeah.
Some of the hatred towards the fandom has been so incredibly hateful toward the neurodivergent community, which makes me really sad. Homestuck ran so MHA could fly. There's a reason Homestuck is also considered toxic by a lot of people.
Homestuck is worse than MHA by fucking far.
Yeah, but it's also because it's looped in with like the Tumblr fandoms. They have to deal with both.
Yeah. I mean that's where Homestuck thrived was Tumblr.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know how many voice actors and not safe for work voice actors got their start because of Homestuck and Tumblr? A lot.
A lot, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Another great video in a community that gets disproportionately hated. I honestly think they don't get hated enough.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately clicked as soon as I saw the title. MHA was unironically one of my first animes. That's the problem.
Is that, yeah. Those are the people we don't want.
You should talk about the Homestuck fandom. The history is wild. I'm part of the Homestuck fandom. I'm not trying to judge them. Well, Lumi, we might have a new video sometime in the future. Although he didn't like or reply to this one, so maybe he won't be doing it.
I don't know. We'll see.
The timing of me finding this video so early after posting when I've been hyper-fixating on MHA the past month and a half is really funny. I completely think the fandom has had an obscene amount of toxicity, hatred, and overall icky content that have happened over the past few years. It's what made me end up leaving the fandom for quite a while and joining the hate train for the show. As I've gotten back into it recently, I find the fandom, or the side I'm on, incredibly chill, kind, funny, and enjoyable to be in. Anyways, I like this video. Have a good day. I think one of the big reasons why so many people outside the fandom were so critical of the Baku-Deku ship is because Bakugo was a relentless bully. It wasn't a typical rivals to lovers dynamic, it was a bully and victim. It wasn't cute ooh-woo, he's just a soft boy. Bakugo literally told Deku to off himself multiple times. If you told people that it was a toxic ship and who would want to be shipped with their bully, people would attack you. There actually was a case of assault over the ship at a convention I went to, or so the gossip was. Then again, I understand very well how a small portion of the fandom can make the whole fan base look really unhinged, which is unfair to those who just want to enjoy the show and connect with people. I think for the specific kind of people Cal is trying to apply to, that is a valid point. That it wasn't just, oh, people just don't like them because they're gay, or they don't like them because they're minors. No, like, it was... the guy was genuinely, like, unhinged to Deku in the show. And people were like, oh, wouldn't they make such a cute couple? It's like, no. What are you talking about? Oh, look, let me, here you go. Remember Elder Weebs of the Hitalia and Homestuck days?
Yep.
Hitalia mentioned.
Hitalia mentioned. You know, this just makes me want to rewatch Hitalia, just so I can remember what my favorite toxic ships were.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it's like controversial enough. I like the crack ship of China and Japan.
Oh, Akko, I found a video for you off to the side here.
Uh-oh, what is it?
I used to be a Mormon.
I don't need to watch that.
Oh, come on. You could make some content off of that. You could be like, oh yeah, same.
I like how one of the recommended videos to this is the MHA fandom is beyond delusional.
Ha.
Cal, you did so well putting the idea of cultivation of fandoms and the outside understanding of them and how quick we are to other them or define them for the larger social view. Seriously well done. Person, he has literally never been in a fandom. He has no idea what he's talking about. His knowledge of fandoms is what he came up with for this video.
Yeah.
It's also making fun of kids. My friends and I call MHA baby's first fandom because it's got all the traits of a fandom with a lot of young people who haven't been in fandom spaces before. And when they did drift into other fandoms, they bring the same hangups and chaos they cause in MHA. What I mean is, by the current extreme reactions to any fan-made content that has even a hint of anything they don't agree with, stuff like canon couples, Jinshi and Mao Mao from Apothecary Diaries, or long-standing ships, Luffy and Law from One Piece, who are 19 and 26 when they start interacting really at all, are bad for any number of reasons. They also lash out at people who even hint anything not safe for work, or get angry when you don't share their headcanon, which were problems in older fandoms when they had a baby's first fandom phase. I think this is trying to, like, defend the MHA people based on the way they're phrasing it, but no, this, like, is genuinely a problem. When you get all these kids that enter into this community and all these other communities are adults and they're like, yeah, we don't want kids around here. And the kids just try and force their way in. And a lot of times, especially on places like Twitter that are a bit more like wide ranging, we don't really have a way to control them coming into like our space. Like you can only block so much. This person's trying to get them to watch My Hero. Nobody cares.
Gross.
My girlfriend had started rewatching MHA a few months ago. I knew nothing about it whatsoever, so when I caught a small portion of it and remarked, huh, so essentially Japanese anime X-Men, she gasped and told me that if I was heard by the fandom saying that, I would be digitally eviscerated. And that was when she showed me videos of just how unhinged some of the superfans of the show, shocked me just how brutal fandoms can be to outsiders. No, that's literally just MHA. That's not normal for fandoms. Toxic side of the fandom is funny, but that might be just me. Oh no, it's definitely funny. Those kids are fucking wild. Some of those who think this is bad clearly never grew up seeing the Homestuck or Voltron fandoms. Again,
the
this is...
Voltron fandom was wild.
Yeah.
The Voltron fandom was wild?
It is.
Oh.
Yep.
But again, this is one of those things like, just because there's something worse doesn't mean this isn't bad. And that's always like where people get this hang up on is like, well, I've seen worse before. Okay, this is still bad.
Yeah.
Like a car crash isn't suddenly okay just because there was a 3-car pileup the day before.
Yeah.
Ain't no way I discovered this channel 2 hours ago, started binging all the videos, and then a new one comes up in my notif. I've been blessed by the YouTube gods. You poor sucker.
Poor may be the wrong word if they like his content.
Yeah, I'm losing my voice. Shit. Saying you're an MHA fandom outright is very double-sided, since people usually assume, oh, you're that kind of fan. Instead of hearing why you adore MHA, I fell in love with it because it helped me cope while I was at my lowest, and I saw a character that had fun traits I liked.
It's kind of gay.
Just kind of gay.
Why is this person talking about shoes?
I don't know.
It's not helping the fact that
this must be something that
feet.
happens at the end of the video, because shoe advice for the boots, for the shoe. It must be like in the last couple minutes he talks about his shoes or some shit.
That's weird. But
Dude,
okay.
is he into feet? Seriously?
Yeah, he's probably just talking about his shoes.
Oh my gosh.
Surprised it wasn't about the Danganronpa fandom, because I was in it and some fans were genuinely crazy, like killing actual people.
That was just like one girl.
Probably also related to the Slender Man thing. Thought the most hated fandom was Has-Been Hotel. Sure, the show has some cringy moments, but it's not as bad as some people make it out to be. A lot of the fandom is the worst, honestly.
Has-Been's new, though.
Has-Been's fairly new, and genuinely I don't think it's nearly as bad as MHA.
No, it's not. It's not as bad as MHA. If anything, they have the worst anties, but that's about it.
Yeah. I know a girl who IRL who has a shirt of Bakudeku Yaoi, and it just says Bakudeku Slime.
It's kind of cringe.
Oh no.
Reminds me of MLP when it got crazy popular. I'm part of the furry community, and when it came out and got all popular, it was everywhere. You couldn't escape it. Then you had weird fan stuff like cupcakes, all the shipping characters, the countless edgy dark fan stories, the weird bronies, all the extreme adult content, and more. I even tried once to watch the show, sat through a good 5 episodes, and just didn't like it. I could see why people thought it was good, it just wasn't meant for me. I can get being a fan, but the way some furries would obsess over MLP was a bit odd to me. Sir, your entire fandom revolves around us dressing up as animals and fucking each other.
Yeah. And also, the Mr. Davey animations were really fucking good. So,
shut up. He just vanished, too. I don't know what the fuck happened with him.
You know, originally he was supposed to be making an animation for a very popular, I think it was a fanfic at the time. And then yeah, he's just kind of disappeared. No one knows what his other accounts were. He's just gone.
Nerdy text an accountant for 5. Lumi needs to see the last minutes of the video for the feet.
No.
I think there's a bit of confusion. People are mostly against Bakudeku because Bakugo, not Baku, was a cruel bully who was horrible to Deku throughout his whole childhood until Deku to end his own when he was in a dark place already. Many people, especially people who are bullied themselves, argue this romanticizes this behavior, unhealthy dynamics, and that very few people would want to date someone after they spent essentially their whole lives trying to make you upset. I will say, because this is the second person that's brought this up, even though I don't care about like what you ship, I do think this goes more to my point I made when he was talking about that he genuinely does not understand any of the criticisms that came out related to that.
Yeah. He
just thinks people are criticizing 2 kids for having or a bunch of kids for shipping 2 gay characters together. No, there is a multifaceted issue both within and outside of the fandom. Just trying to narrow it down to that shows that either you have an agenda you're pushing or you genuinely have no clue what the fuck you're talking about. And if he had watched any other content talking about MHA instead of quote doing his own research, which I don't think he did, he probably would have found some of these criticisms because everybody's talked about them before. Even people outside the fandom know about these. Notice this happens in a lot of fandom when there's a wide range of characters. Not really.
No.
Used to like MHA in middle school. I still secretly like Azawa and Shoto. 2 minutes in, but the list of BNHA crimes already pales in comparison to Homestuck. God, Lumi, you're just catching strays left and right.
I don't care. I know I was part of the Homestuck fandom. I did voice acting for the Homestuck fandom. At this point, it's ingrained into me.
maybe we should talk about Homestuck one day.
No. There's too much.
I think the most interesting part of Homestuck is when I was talking to Lumi the other day, and she had no idea that Toby Fox was involved in it.
I forgot because his involvement at the time, because I was in the fandom when it was still actively going on. He didn't have much of a name for himself at the time.
Fair. I just thought it was funny because I thought it was, to me, as somebody that like played Undertale exactly one time, I thought it was common knowledge.
No, it's like I wasn't all into Undertale, honestly.
This is a total side point. Can I complain about the fact that, because, you know, Toby Fox has been making music for Pokemon for some reason.
Yeah.
He actually did pretty good for Sword and Shield, but I listened to every track he made for Scarlet Violet, and it is just shit music. Really? I don't know what happened to him, or if they, like, tied his hands behind his back when he was making those tracks, but they are genuinely, I think, not the worst tracks in the game, but they're up there for the worst.
I liked the final boss theme.
The final boss theme, I think, is kind of eh. I think a lot of the themes other than that are better. Like, what threw me off the most is when I heard that he did music for it, I was trying to guess what songs were his, and the first one I was like, this was Toby's, was Penny's theme, and then come to find out it's not. And I genuinely think that's the best song they had in that game.
Penny did have a pretty good theme.
Penny's track was banger. And he didn't make that one. He made the final boss theme, and I don't think it's that good. It's just very repetitive.
Well, here's the thing. It sounds a lot like an Undertale song. Like, it just jumped right out of the game.
Oh, somebody fucking played the Penny Dojin character. I'm sorry, my blurb was muted, chat. Here, I will play it for you guys again, because oh, my tab crashed on YouTube. YouTube, why can you never do it? Where is Dojin character? It's in here somewhere. I'll play it for you, because I'm allowed to.
Oh my god, I'm a Dojin character now.
Chat, it took me like a week to re-find that porn animation so I could add that to blurb myself. It was surprisingly difficult to find because I think the one I originally watched had gotten removed.
Yeah.
Hopefully blurb never deletes it. But I think we're good kind of reading through these.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, this is the thing, he talks about he likes criticism and debate, but everybody in his comments is always on his side, and then the one time we disagreed with him, he deleted it after a day.
It's like he has a very special talent of saying a lot of nothing in a long period of time.
Oh, 100%. And he just constantly repeats stuff as well. Like, he's constantly looping back and forth over himself. Don't worry, chat, I'm gonna put everybody in their rooms. I've got a cute little setup for this chat. I'm gonna redo it, though. I don't think I've told Akko and Lumi how I want to redo it. But I decided that because, like, we're longer than we are, like, wider, basically, because we're people, I'm thinking I will do it vertically instead. Like, I'll have 3 vertical windows left to right, and then I'll have the chat, like, across the top or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that would make us look better. What do you think?
Yeah.
We'll have to do it in order to figure it out.
Chubby Fox also did the Battle Tower song in Sword and Shield. There's a Battle Tower in Sword and Shield? I don't know.
Oh, this is off topic, but I'm gonna watch this after we're done with stream. PewDiePie is building his own PC, so that can only go so well for him.
I mean, to be fair, putting a PC together is pretty easy. I threw mine together.
Mizu?
What?
Don't you remember that PC building video that had everyone want to kill themselves en masse?
No.
Oh no. We're gonna have to... It's like 6 years old at this point, but it's still prime content for reaction. Hold on, PC build.
That could be another day.
It was a PC build by The Verge. Back,
never mind. I did see it. Yeah.
Okay.
The one where they didn't even wear like the gloves.
It's like they didn't know anything.
Mizu, you're not PewDiePie. I think PewDiePie knows what he's doing though. He seems to me like somebody that even if he doesn't, he'll be like looking into it.
Just looking at the comments, someone just said, Felix, we all know Bjorn built this for you off screen.
Fair.
And also, it's like, have you seen how big Bjorn's been getting? He is so fucking cute. PewDiePie really did win life.
I'll be honest with you, I occasionally watch him, but not that much.
He's so fucking cute. The Verge PC build video, no. Yeah. It still lives in infamy to this day.
Oh hey, Twitch changed up how their whole thing looks. Their whole video producer section.
Oh yeah, speaking of Twitch, did you see that originally instead of like condensing down clips and highlight storage to 100 hours, they wanted to get rid of it completely?
I don't know. I'm one of those people that I saw Jenny say this the other day, and I kind of agreed, is I think anyone who didn't expect this was probably thinking the grass was a little greener than it was.
Yeah, it says multiple staffers familiar with the matter claim that this will allegedly save Twitch several $100,000 a year. The original plan was allegedly to phase out highlights entirely, but they decided on a middle ground that maintains 100 hours of storage. Apparently, if they phased out the feature entirely, it would have saved millions per year. I suspect that and recognize the value of using highlights as a longer clip function, sometimes 60-second isn't enough. TikTok, Shorts, and Reels all expanded to 3 minutes.
Fair. I don't know, I saw this coming.
Yeah.
I think everybody probably should have. And you probably should see more, like, cost-cutting measures coming from Twitch.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, 100%. It's going to continue to get worse until the platform just shuts down. We're going to get to a point where they're like, we're not going to save VODs anymore. Once it's gone, it's gone.
Twitch as a platform is becoming kind of worse and worse, and it's just something you have to, like, accept that it's not going to go well.
At what point are people just going to be like, oh, maybe we should move to... Because all three of us have basically, like, made the shift to YouTube.
I mean, stream on both of them.
Well, yeah, we stream on both of them, but like YouTube is like our main platform where we get the most attention. Attention.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe I just understood YouTube better than I understood Twitch.
Oh yeah, I
like the YouTube algorithm a lot better than Twitch's.
Oh, you mean like the opposite of no algorithm?
Exactly.
I don't know. I do think it's impressive that I tend to get better metrics on YouTube despite streaming on Twitch for far longer and doing only streams basically, because you two do a lot more like actual content than me. I just straight stream almost exclusively, and it still just goes better than Twitch.
I don't believe I upload more content than you. Like, my last video was a 2-minute update video that got 1,500 views for some reason, and then before that, my last upload was 3 months ago during that Sweet Baby Nippon thing that was going around Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Fair. Well, I think we had a good night tonight. What do you guys think?
Yes.
I agree. In a couple hours, I'm going to talk about Mutahar.
Unknown Entity,
Nice.
Hey Lumi, Mizu, and Akko. I just want to say you guys are a good podcast to listen to while I play War Thunder. Thank you, it's appreciated. Speaking of War Thunder, apparently for some reason, Wargaming, the opposite company to War Thunder, is advertising on Twitch right now. It's labeled as a publisher sale, but all their games are free to play. So, I guess it's the DLC is cheaper, or like the microtransactions are on discount, but all their games are free. I'm probably going to play some of their wargaming games later because they are released. They have one on demo right now if you guys want to go try it, called Steel Hunters, where you play in squads with robots. And I want to go play Big Stompy Robot. And they also let me have the demo access, which they're just giving to everybody. When the other game that came out, Mecha Break, wouldn't let me in.
Well, now
I was
you
about
can play,
to say
right?
Mecha Break is out right now.
Morg Pie got banned again.
Tragic.
Oh no, how tragic.
Reigning Terror for 2, wish Twitch kept Epsteiny. What? It would have been fun.
Epsteiny. Destiny.
Oh, fair.
People call him Epsteiny now.
Yeah,
Nancy.
Lumi does more videos for arts than her channel. It's funny, World of Warships is sponsoring a History Channel documentary show. I unironically enjoy World of Warships more than any of the other games. The problem is the American servers are dead as fuck. It can take like 30 minutes to get into a basic game. It is terrible. Also, chat, because I actually have gotten a decent number of super chats this time. For those of you who didn't see it on Twitter or didn't see it on the podcast, Google has finally decided to let me have my money again. So I'm actually receiving your super chats now instead of just having them float around in the ether of AdSense for months.
Congratulations.
He's finally getting paid. Yay.
Did you get paid today? Because today is the day that they pay out.
Yeah, I did. And I will say, because I said it on Twitter, I am genuinely like humbled by the amount of money you guys give to us. I didn't expect to make any money out of streaming, like, ever. I thought maybe like one day, 20 years in the future, I would pay off my model or something like that. I didn't expect to like actually make money. So thank you all. It's super appreciated. And now I'm actually receiving it. So that makes it even better.
You're gonna make this boy cry.
For those of you who don't know, I literally, for 6 months now, have been fighting with Google to try and get them to let me have the money. Because they just continually told me that my information that I gave them was incorrect, according to the my driver's license that I submitted as proof that it was my real information. And I re-entered and resubmitted the information like 20, 30 times at this point. And finally, for some reason, the other day, I resubmitted it again and immediately got a message an hour later. Hey, you've been accepted!
I'm gonna be right back. I gotta go to the bathroom. But if you end stream before I get back, bye everybody. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, I was gonna go ahead and end it real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. Well then, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Bye everybody!
Reigning Terror for 5, do not like you, Akko, but I respect you for making videos I like, so if I'm awake, I'll send you money to have this money, Mizu. Thank you very much, Reigning. You're appreciated.
Why don't you like me?
I think it's possible for people to not necessarily like you, but to think you make good content.
I mean, fair enough.
I think there's some people that I think make good content, but I genuinely don't like them.
I mean,
Remember, that's
curious.
that's my feeling thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where I get the bad vibes. But thank you, chat. We will see y'all tomorrow. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow, but I'll be doing something for sure. Akko said they're doing something in a little bit, but I'm actually raiding you guys over to my friend Shiroi. I'm trying to help Shiroi grow. I would really appreciate if some of you guys would kind of stick around with her and watch her content a little bit. I think she's good, and I think she could grow bigger and do more. She just needs, like, that little push that the algorithm refuses to give her. So I understand if you guys gotta go, or if you guys aren't necessarily interested in, like, her thing because it's mostly just gameplay, but I would really appreciate it if you would stay and, like, give her little messages of support. But bye, guys. We'll see you all later. Love you all.
Cheers.